Welcome to the Northwest Sports Fanatics YouTube channel. I'm your host, Orion. I got a great show for you here today with the Atlanta Braves versus the Seattle Mariners. First pitch is going to be here in roughly 5 minutes, so let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineups. Happy Monday, everyone. And on the thumb, on the left, second baseman extraordinaire, Ozzie Albies. And on the right, the best center fielder in the game, it's J-Rod Julio Rodriguez. Now the 25-10 Atlanta Braves, the best record in baseball, 13-4 on the road. It's not going to be easy. I do have an injury report and some updates for everyone here in a few minutes. But first, let's get into the starting lineups here for the Atlanta Braves. Leading off for the Braves at DH, Drake Baldwin. Batting second, playing second base, Ozzie Albies. Batting third, playing first base, Matt Olson. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, center fielder, Mauricio Dubon. Batting fifth, playing third base, Austin Riley. Batting sixth, playing left field, Mike Yastrzemski. Batting seventh, catching today for Atlanta, making his debut, Sean Murphy. Batting eighth, playing right field, Eli White. And batting ninth, playing shortstop, Jorge Mateo. And on the mound for the Braves with a 1-0 record and ERA of 2.92, the up-and-coming stud, J.R. Ritchie. And now let's get into the starting lineup for your Seattle Mariners. A few games obviously below 500, getting swept recently, but we can definitely turn things around. 16-19, 10-10 at home. We need to be better. And now let's get into the Seattle Mariner lineup. Leading off for the Mariners at shortstop, J.P. Crawford. Batting second, center fielder, it's J-Rod Julio Rodriguez. Batting third, playing first base, it's Nails, Josh Naylor. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. Batting fifth, DHing today for the Seattle Mariners, the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. Batting sixth, playing right field, Luke Raley. Batting seventh, playing second base, Cole Clutch Young. Batting eighth, catching today for Seattle, Mitch Garver. And batting ninth, playing third base, Leo Rivas. And on the mound for the Mariners with a 1-3 record, ERA of 4.03, it is Walter, a.k.a. Logan Gilbert. And we know Logan was terrible at the beginning of the year, but he has gotten slightly better the last few starts, and hopefully we'll be able to get that energy and that electricity out of Logan Gilbert. He's got to be able to give up less than 3 runs. Hopefully it's 0-2, but no more than 3. And the magic number for the Mariners to compete, 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. And if we hit that number, we should have a chance to compete late in the matchup. And now let's go over a quick injury report for anybody that is concerned, which a lot of us are. So obviously Cal Raleigh, 3rd straight game that he has missed. Right side soreness still. He's day to day. And again, by tomorrow morning, we'll probably find out if he'll either or maybe tomorrow afternoon, we'll find out if he's either going to be in the lineup or they're going to put him on the 10-day IL or 15-day IL. Hopefully, cross your fingers, he'll be in the lineup tomorrow. And we definitely aren't the same team without Cal or Brendan Donovan in the lineup. We definitely need Cal back, behind the plate. But at least for the time being, hopefully tomorrow will be the day. Gabe Spire, maybe our number 3 guy in the bullpen. We already got Matt Brash with an injury. And again, Gabe Spire, shoulder inflammation. And we know he hasn't been the greatest lately, but he's on the 15-day IL. So now we don't have our number 1, Matt Brash, and our number 3, Gabe Spire, for at least a couple weeks. Prayers up for Gabe. Cole Wilcox ends up going to the Tacoma Rainiers, so he gets option there. He really didn't do a whole lot for us anyways. And what that means, obviously, for the Mariners is that Josh Simpson gets called up from the AAA Tacoma Rainiers, and Jose Suarez, coincidentally from the Atlanta Braves, gets reports to Seattle. And again, we'll have another individual that we can have in the pen. And for the Atlanta Braves, their star player, Ronald Acuna Jr., had a grade 1 hamstring this weekend, and he's on the 10-day IL, so we will not have any Ronald Acuna Jr. So I don't wish injuries on anybody, but again, at least it's one big player for them that's not playing, since we're not going to have Cal and we're not going to have, Brendan Donovan. Now, we might have Cal, tomorrow, and obviously the third game in the set, it's possible. But again, big loss for them with no Ronald Acuna Jr., but I mean, look at us, no Brandon Donovan, no Cal Raleigh. We just got to be able to find a way to get the job done. And that is the injury report here today. Michelle in the building, what's good? Blue Jay in the building, great to see you as well. Yost in the building, what's good? And Ryan is in the building, what's good? And again, certain teams, we don't play well. Athletics, Angels, Royals are the 3 that really come into mind where we might take them for granted, but we got to get the job done here. First pitch is high and away. 96 miles an hour there by Logan Gilbert, 1-0 count. There's no way in hell we're sweeping the Braves. They're the number 1 team in baseball. They're 25-10. We have to shoot for 2 wins out of 3. Realistically, we'll probably win 1 out of 3, but again, we can't get swept in back-to-back series, especially, how things have gone for us. And it shows you, how really important Brandon Donovan is. We haven't really been winning without him. And with no Cal Raleigh, extra tough. 1-0 pitch. Hard hit ball on the 1-1. Back. Gone! And just like that, first pitch high and away. Second pitch fouled off. Third pitch, Drake Baldwin goes yard. And just like that, 1-0 Braves. Come on, Seattle. Again, we have all these issues and everything gets magnified, especially when things start going wrong. And Drake Baldwin right out of the gates says, you know what, I'm going to take Logan Gilbert yard on the third pitch. And there it is, 1-0 Atlanta, 426 feet to center field. Next up is Ozzie Albies. And it shows you right there, the chance of us sweeping this team is 0, realistically. I mean, now if we had, Brendan Donovan, healthy. We had Cal Raleigh, healthy. We had Matt Brash and Gabe Spire, healthy. And Mooney was good. Maybe there would be a chance that we could, compete, for a sweep if we could win the first 2. But again, you got to understand where we're at right now and who we're playing. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, high and away. No balls and 2 strikes to Ozzie Albies. And again, we have Logan Gilbert on the mound. And again, he was terrible at the beginning of the season. He's been getting slightly better in the last few starts, but already gives up a home run on the first batter. And we just have to pray that he gives up 3 or less and the bats come alive. And if he doesn't give up 3 and he gives up more, then we just have to hope that we can match, bat for bat. And if we're going to have a high scoring affair, then, we have to compete. 1-2 pitch to Albies. Big swing and a miss, and down he goes. Nice punch out there against Ozzie Albies. Giving up home runs early, is kind of our MO. We don't do it every game, but again, we have to get some punch outs in there. Down goes Ozzie Albies with the punch out after Baldwin homered on the third pitch. Next up, their best player that's playing now, first baseman Matt Olson. And again, no Ronald Acuna Jr. with a grade 1 hamstring. He'll be on the 10-day IL, so we won't have to face him. But again, we might not have Brendan Donovan for sure, and we might not have Cal Raleigh either. So a lot of injuries piling up here for the Mariners early on. First pitch is high and away to Matt Olson, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, right down the middle for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to Matt Olson. But again, if you go back to, last season, I was trying to look up to see where we were at, about 35, 36 games in, but it didn't really give me a specific answer. 1-1 pitch popped up and out of play, but it did give me, within the first 69 games, we were 35 and 34, and then we went on a big run in July, and usually we go on big runs as a second half team after the All-Star break. So again, right now we're, a few games below 500. A lot of teams in the American League are bad, but again, we have to be as positive, as possible. This is not easy to watch. Again, I'm calling these games, from beginning to end. 1-2 pitch popped up and out of play by Matt Olson. It's tough, especially after, the success that we had last season. But there's a lot of reasons, why things are going sideways. It's obviously the hitting, the WBC, poor management, obviously poor managing by Dan Wilson, injuries. There's a lot of things that, have definitely not gone our way. 1-2 pitch, low and away. And that's not excuses, it's just reality. Look at all the teams in the American League that are struggling, not named the Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays. It's literally everyone. It just kind of sucks that at this point we have so many injuries, and it's not ideal. 2-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. There we go. Second punch out there for Logan Gilbert. I like that. Give up a home run on the first guy to Drake Baldwin. Back-to-back punch outs on Albies as well as Matt Olson. I'll take it, and that is 2 away. But no matter, how negative, the fair weather fans are, or even the hardcore fans, again, I'm always going to bring a positive light, but we will be real. We're not going to sugarcoat anything. And again, we definitely have to be better. There's no doubt about that. First pitch to the former Houston Astro, Mauricio Dubon, takes a strike looking low and away, 0-1 count. TJ in the building. What's good, brother? 0-1 pitch. Popped up to shallow center field. Julio Rodriguez is there for the no-fly zone, and that is out number 3. And you never, like to, be down in the first inning. But again, giving up home runs, it's happened, quite a few times, not every game, but again, it could have been worse. Imagine if the Braves would have put up 4, or 5 in the first inning. So again, no matter, how bad things get, we have to stick together and understand that this is a long season. There's going to be peaks and valleys. We're going to be having ups and downs. And again, we just have to stay as positive as possible. Great defense there by Julio. 2 punch outs there for Logan Gilbert after giving the home run on pitch 3 to Drake Baldwin. And we're going to need to have Logan Gilbert, give up 3 or less, preferably 2 now or less. He's already given up 1, but, again, if he gives up 3, that's about maximum, But again, if we end up having a game where we can rake as well, who knows? Maybe it'll be a 6-5 kind of game. We'll wait and see. On the mound for the Braves, up-and-coming young stud, 1-0 record, 2.92 ERA, J.R. Ritchie. Leading off for the Mariners, that shortstop, J.P. Crawford. Batting second, it's J-Rod Julio Rodriguez, and we're going to need him to be going active early and often. And batting third, first baseman, it's Nails, Josh Naylor. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. We're going to be shooting for 100 likes, 100 on that dono train, and 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. And we're only 28 subs away from 24,000, so hopefully we'll be able to make a little bit of a dent in that as well. But no Ronald Acuna Jr., no Cal Raleigh. Acuna will be out for the whole series. Hamstring injury, 10-day IL, pretty serious, grade 1. So at least that's, makes it a little bit more even, I guess, slightly. First pitch from Richie to Crawford, high and away. Four-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, change up, high and away. 89 miles an hour there by Richie. 2 balls and no strikes to J.P. Crawford. We're going to need to play some small ball today as well. A little bit of bunting, a little bit of, hit and run, opportunities, and hopefully we'll get a few double plays and we'll be able to make, a few spectacular, Sports Center top 10-ish kind of plays, because we're going to need to give Logan Gilbert all the help that he can get. All day in the building, what's good? Marine Bean in the building, what's good? I love in the building, what's good? Two-one pitch, high and away. 3 balls and 1 strike to J.P. Crawford. 3-1 pitch, fouled off there by J.P. Glad that he wasn't out in the first or second pitch. And again, if we can get the pitch count up here on Richie, that'll definitely help our chances. We don't really know for sure if Cal's going to be back tomorrow. Again, we should be able to find out if he's in the lineup tomorrow or on the 10-day or 15-day IL. Cross your fingers that it's not bad. And, we need Cal. There's no doubt about it. 3-2 pitch, and there we go. First batter ends up taking a 6-pitch walk. And again, getting someone on base and being able to respond after giving up a home run to Drake Baldwin, on the 3rd pitch, first batter, we'll take that. Braves end up challenging and they lose the challenge. I like that. And J.P. Crawford makes his way to first. Next up is center fielder Julio Rodriguez. We know he can do it defensively, and we're going to need him to be amazing in the box, and he has been, in the last 15 or 16 games, batting above 300. And this might be the first season where he actually has a pretty damn good, first half for the very first time in his career, even though he was terrible with Cal and Naylor in the first 10 games. First pitch, low and away, sinker, 94 miles an hour, 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, low and away. I like this. Richie a little wild here early. 2 balls and no strikes to J.P. Crawford early on, and now with Julio Rodriguez, another 2-0 count. Let's go. And if you are just hopping into the broadcast and did not mention or hear the mentions that I went over, Gabe Spire, our number 3 in the pen, is on the IL with shoulder inflammation, 15-day IL. So him and Brash both gone. So we're going to have to really rely on Bizzardo as our 1. And then, a few other guys, Hoppy, probably number 2. So hopefully things will get better, injury-wise, but it's definitely been tough. 2-0 pitch, big swing and a miss right down the middle. 2 balls and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. 2-1 pitch, takes another strike looking right down the middle. Had a big swing and a miss, takes a strike looking on pitch 4. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Cole Wilcox got sent down to the Tacoma Rainiers. Josh Simpson got the call up. And then we got Jose Suarez from the Braves, a lefty bullpen pitcher that will be able to help us out at some point. I'm not sure if it's today, but we'll find out. And there we go. Braves lose all their challenges by challenging, here twice in the first inning. And again, I like that. That's going to help us out, definitely moving forward. Call now is 3 balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Let's go. And finally, we get something to go our way, and again, Braves end up challenging twice here in the first inning with Matt Olson, the catcher, and he loses both. And again, we need to make sure we take advantage. Back-to-back full counts here for Richie early with JP and Julio. 3-2 pitch. Julio pops it up. If he would have been patient, that would have been ball 4. Dubon is there, the former Astro, and that is 1 away. But at least we're getting the pitch count up early for J.P. Crawford's at-bat and Julio Rodriguez. Next up, in the 3-hole, first baseman, it's Nails, Josh Naylor. Let's go, Josh. We need you to bring that electricity. On deck is Randy Rosarina. And Naylor with the line drive to first. Oh my. Did he catch that? Unbelievable. Olsen with the catch. And a double play right there, sitting down on first base. Unbelievable. And Sean Murphy obviously losing those challenges behind the plate. And Matt Olson at first, sitting down, catching the ball. And this is hopefully not a repeat of Vinny Pasquantino in what he was able to do on the Royals against the Mariners. Everything that went to first base got gobbled up by Pasquantino and Olson. Right place, right time, right on the line, sitting down on the bag. JP was already, kind of heading to second. And a big double play for Atlanta after they ended up losing both of their challenges already early on. End of the first inning, 1-0 Atlanta. Next up for the Braves in the 5-hole in the top of the second inning, third baseman Austin Riley. Batting second in the 6-hole, left fielder Mike Yastrzemski. And batting third in the 7-hole, catcher Sean Murphy. And on the mound for the Mariners, 1-3 record, ERA of 4.03, Logan Gilbert. Gave up a home run to the first batter on the third pitch, but did get strikeouts on Albies and Olson after that. So, again, we saw Luis Castillo, obviously being the worst pitcher on the staff, get quite a few Ks in the first, 3 innings, but then ended up having a meltdown in the 4th, and that's all she wrote for the Mariners. So, again, hopefully, Logan will be able to settle down and settle in. Hopefully that'll be the only home run that he gives up. And, again, even with no Cal Raleigh in the lineup, we have to understand how tough this stretch has been without Donovan and now with Cal missing his 3rd straight game. But, again, you have to believe that at some point, some way, we're going to be able to get a few plays to go our way. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. First pitch in there to Austin Riley is in there for a strike. 28 subs away from 24,000. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss from Riley there. No balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Top of the second inning, 1-0 Atlanta. And again, this team is not for the faint of heart. If you're not mentally strong, this is not the team for you. Again, depending on how long you've been a fan of this team, and there's, going to be fair weather, bandwagon, hardcore fans, fanatics, and there's different levels to this, as far as being a sports fan. Hard hit ball into deep left field. Randy is there and runs into the wall, but hangs on. Nice job there by Randy Arozarena. And again, we know with ground balls, he's a liability, but on pop-ups, he's pretty damn good. Nice job, Randy, for that not ending up, being a double or a triple. Great job there with the defense, and that is 1 away. Down goes Austin Riley. Next up in the 6-hole, left fielder Mike Yastrzemski. And Yastrzemski with a little dribbler there into right field and a base knock there. Nice job there by Yastrzemski. Gilbert having some issues here early on. Next up, catcher in the 7-hole, Sean Murphy. This is his debut this season after having surgery last year. First pitch, right down the middle for a strike to Murphy. Slider 85 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Oh, 0-1 pitch. Check swing. Did he go? Oh, says he did not go around. It was close. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gilbert to Murphy. They used both of their challenges already on the ABS and lost. So, again, we definitely have to make sure we take advantage. But, we'll see how this ump calls this game. 1-1 pitch. Hard hit ball towards third base. Rivas is there. Double play. Throw to first. Got him. There we go. I like that, baby. Hey, if we get a double play with a line drive, right there to Olsen, and he sits down on the bag as JP's going to second, it's only fitting that we get a double play of our own. And Murphy grounds out, to Leo Rivas. Nice throw there, to JP. Cole Young in the vicinity as well. Throw to Naylor, and a nice double play there for the Mariners. And again, I like that. Anytime that you can end up getting a few double plays to help your pitcher out, it definitely is going to be something that we're going to need. Great job there by Seattle defensively by Randy, as well as Rivas, making that double play happen. And now let's go to the bottom of the second inning and tie this game up. Next up in the 4-hole, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Batting second in the 5-hole, the Italian Stallion, DHing Dominic Canzone. And batting sixth in right field, Luke Raley. And we could really use a good performance out of Canzone and Raley. They haven't really done a whole lot recently. And again, with the injuries to Donovan and Cal, it's making it pretty tough, to be able to put, hits, RBIs, and runs on the board. But we got to find a way. 28 subs away from 24,000. Let's see where we're at on the likes here early on. All right, looks like we're at 40, 60 to go to hit our first goal. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Bottom of the second inning, 1-0 Braves. Drake Baldwin homering on Gilbert on the third pitch of the game, but then got a few punch outs, on Albies and Olsen to kind of calm down and settle in. And now we just need our offense to be able to deliver. And again, 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. That's going to be the magic number. If we hit that, it's not a guaranteed win if we hit those numbers, 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits, depending on how the pitching is from Logan. But it definitely would put us in position, you would think, especially against this team that's got the best record in baseball, 25-10, 13-4 on the road, number 1, Atlanta Braves. 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Randy Arozarena. 2-0 pitch, little dribbler right in front of the pitcher. Run, Randy! Wow, and Randy is safe. That might have been the fastest I've seen Randy run like ever in his entire career, maybe even going back to the Tampa Bay Rays. For the Mariners, we know he's kind of lazy on ground balls, there in left field, but knowing that it's just a slow dribbler right in front of the catcher and the pitcher, that he had to be able to give it everything that he had there, and he is safe. Again, imagine if Randy actually did that all the time. We would respect him more as a player, and again, he would be one of the best two-way players with Cole Young and Julio Rodriguez if he just, had that type of effort, running the bags as well as running for ground balls and throwing lasers instead of lobs into the infield after he gets the baseball. I mean, the simple little things like that can go from, being a good player to a great player. Nice job, Randy. First pitch to Canzone is high and inside, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and inside. Nice pitch there by Richie. Change up, 89 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike to Dominic Canzone. 1-1 pitch, low and away. Big swing and a miss again. Come on, Dom. We can't have you chasing like Julio did in his early, part of his career. We need you to be patient in the box. It just seems like Canzone and Raley are pressing as of late, and they just need to let the game come to them. 1-2 pitch from Richie. Low and away. Change up, 89 miles an hour there by J.R. Richie, up-and-coming stud for the Braves. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and no outs. Bottom of the second inning, 1-0 Braves. And Richie's a little wild. We should be able to take advantage of a few walks and, a few high counts as long as the batters are patient. 2-2 pitch, and they say that he goes around. And down goes Dominic Canzone as he walks into the dugout with disgust on his face. Let's look at the replay to see how far around he went. Yeah, can't really tell in that first angle. Yeah, second angle, he does go around. Good call there. And that is one away. Next up is Luke Raley. We could really use a nuke from Luke. Throw to first, and Randy is safe. And we can't have Randy falling asleep in between the bags, and we definitely can't have him, not knowing what the pitch count is, with bases loaded, thinking it was pitch, ball 4, and it was ball 3, and ended up getting tagged out and killed all the momentum for us. So hopefully Randy will be aware. First pitch to Luke Raley, low and away. Curveball off speed, 83 miles an hour by J.R. Ritchie, 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and no strikes to Luke Raley. Two-0 pitch from Ritchie. Big swing and a miss. Sinker, 94 miles an hour there by Ritchie. 2 balls and 1 strike with a runner at first and 1 out. Bottom of the second inning, 1-0 Braves. And again, this is a type of series where, if you're looking at it on paper, a lot of people, haters especially, will say, you're going to get swept, easily, no matter who's playing, no matter who's healthy or not. But again, a lot of times, when you go into series thinking that we're going to sweep or we're going to win 2 out of 3, like that Royal series, the opposite sometimes happens and we get swept. So no one giving us a chance to win a game in this series. You never know. We might end up winning 2 out of 3. I don't think that, we're going to sweep them, but again, if we win the first 2 games, you never know. And Randy is safe at second. Here we go. This is the good version of Randy Arozarena that we're seeing here today. Making a nice grab into left field, saving a base knock from being a double, and then, being able to have hustle on that little dribbler right in front of the pitcher, and then a great stolen bag there. Wild throw, by Sean Murphy, playing in his first game after having surgery in the offseason, and he's going to be a little rusty. A lot of catchers throw wide right, when they're trying to pick off a guy, and thankfully that was wide right, and Randy, chopping it up with Ozzie Albies there at second base, is safe. Nice job, Randy. 3-2 pitch. Check swing. Did he go? And he did not. Thank God. We already had Canzone get out with check swing. And there we go. Nice job there by Luke Raley, not getting out on the first 2 pitches. And now we got runners at first and second with 1 out. Here we go. And they don't have Ronald Acuna Jr. Yeah, we don't have Cal Raleigh, so it's kind of like a push, But again, we know how good Ronald, was, for a good majority of his career after his injury. Really wasn't the same type of player, but still a dangerous player to say the least. Next up, one of our favorite players, Cole Clutch Young. Let's go, Cole. 3 home runs, 19 ribbies, batting .266, but as of late has been pretty damn good. He woke a few mini droughts of going 0 for 4 in back-to-back games, but usually it only lasts 2 games. And the worst that he'll typically go is 0 for 8, and then he'll turn it around and at least get a hit in that next game. So hopefully Cole will be active early and often as we have a mound visit from Sean Murphy to J.R. Ritchie, trying to figure out how to pitch to Cole Young. And hopefully Cole will be able to get a single, double, RBI, or potentially a home run to give us the lead. Let's go, Cole. But I feel confident. I know it's kind of crazy to say with no Cal, no Brandon Donovan, no Matt Brash, no Gabe Spire, but I feel confident in this series. Popped up by Cole Young, and that is 2 away. And runners cannot advance. And thankfully, Randy is smart enough to go back to second there. But I still feel Cole will get a few big hits in this game. Next up in the 8-hole, catcher Mitch Garver. J.R. Ritchie on the mound. Mitch Garver in the box. Let's go, Mitch. And Mitch, lately every, 3rd or 4th game, does something big, RBI, and, every once in a blue moon, he'll have a big home run. I couldn't think of a better moment for him to get a big RBI or home run than right now. First pitch, takes a strike looking high and inside. Curveball, 81 miles an hour. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Mitch Garver. And if you're just paying attention as, the Mariners dugout, Richie is kind of all over the place. So as long as you're not swinging, at the first couple pitches and, popping up and, grounding out, and you're kind of getting his pitch count up, eventually, if you can get to pitch 4, pitch 5, pitch 6, that could be, as good of a pitch as pitch 1 or 2 if it's right down the middle and you get the pitch count up. Big swing and a miss there from Garv. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Let's see if Garv can come up with a play. 1-2 pitch. Garver with a little dribbler towards third base and foul. But I sure as hell hope that Cal Raleigh will be in the lineup tomorrow. The last thing I want to see is Cal on the 10-day IL. And we didn't really have all these injuries with our, regular position players last year. 1-2 pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Mitch Garver. Now, we obviously had, George Kirby out for the first couple months. Logan Gilbert playing a little bit and then being out for a month and a half. Victor Robles, running into the barrier and wall and netting in San Francisco. But again, as far as our, top-end players, we haven't had, this many injuries to top-end players in quite some time. Pitch is low and away. Change up 87 miles an hour. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Mitch Garver. Come on, Mitch. Take the walk if it's there. 3-2 pitch. Mitch pops it up. Shallow left field. Should be in play. And that is out number 3. Unfortunate we leave 2 stranded, but at least we got 2 guys on. And again, sometimes you got to be patient and wait, for the proper inning to be able to get something going. But again, a missed opportunity there. End of the second inning, 1-0 Atlanta. $28 subs away from 24,000. Next up for the Braves in the 8-hole, right fielder Eli White. Batting second in the 9-hole, shortstop Jorge Mateo. And batting third, leadoff hitter, DHing with a home run on the third pitch of the game, Drake Baldwin. 1-for-1 with a run and an RBI. Got to be careful on how we pitch to Drake Baldwin. Right hands up. Let's go, M's. All right, we're at 54 likes, 46 to 100. End of the second inning, 1-0 Atlanta. So Gabe Spire, 15-day IL with shoulder inflammation, so we won't have him, even though he's been very up and down. Cole Wilcox got sent down to the Tacoma Rainiers. Josh Simpson got called up. And then Jose Suarez reports to the Seattle Mariners from the Atlanta Braves. So, again, bullpen really banged up early on, and obviously some of our star players. I mean, think about it. If you had 2 out of the top 3 guys in the pen and your closer not playing well, 2 out of your 3 in the pen injured, and then 2 of your best hitters on the team, that bring a lot, with, home run power with Cal Raleigh, even though, obviously his batting average is quite a bit lower than some of the other guys. But as far as home run power, he's definitely leading the team with 7 home runs. But just having him behind the plate and his leadership, we're lacking that. And, without Brendan Donovan, we haven't really been the same team. It's like, imagine, having Ichiro, as your leadoff hitter and then not having Ichiro. I mean, that's essentially what Donovan brings. And, he was definitely batting well above 300 for a good chunk while he was out there, and pretty good defender as well. So can't wait for him to come back. And I definitely need Cal and, Brendan Donovan in this lineup badly. First pitch is low and away with a 4-seam fastball, 1-0 count. I saw that with Skubal. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gilbert to White. You know, a lot of injuries, a lot of big name players getting injured early within the first 35 games. Little slow dribbler, Rivas with some good defense, throw to first, got him. Nice job by Leo Rivas, my goodness. You know, again, you know, we know third base is a tough position to play, especially with a lot of those, you know, ground balls that come at you with, you know, a lot of velocity. But to be able to get that ground ball and to be able to stand up as quick as he can and get a decent throw, not the strongest arm out of Leo Rivas, you know, compared to Donnie and a few others in the past, but nice job there. White grounds out, and that is 1 away. Nice job. We got to help Logan Gilbert as much as we can. First pitch in there to Mateo, takes a strike looking, slider, 85 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Beautiful splitter there. 82 miles an hour, low and away. No balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Mateo. You know, and again, it's like besides Baldwin, Albies, and Olsen, those are the main guys we have to worry about. But with like Dubon, Riley, Yastrzemski, Murphy, you know, White, and Mateo, it's not as threatening, you know, as people think. You know, and they lost Ronald Acuna Jr. this weekend with the hamstring. Little slow dribbler. JP's got it. Throw to first. Throw is high, but not in time, and he is safe. You know, so again, if we can manage Baldwin, Albies, and Olsen, you know, and try to limit the damage, even though Baldwin has already homered, you know, in the first inning, you know, the rest of the lineup, you know, I'm not going to say it's bad, you know, but it's not as good as people think, you know. But again, they are rolling with the best record in baseball, 25-10. And, you know, if you get great production out of Baldwin, Albies, and Olsen, you best believe it's going to rub off, you know, on those other players, and it has. Next up is Drake Baldwin. First pitch, high and away, 1-0 count. And we definitely can't have Baldwin homer again. Got to be very careful on where you pitch, you know, Baldwin, Albies, and Olsen. If you go down the middle too often, they will make you pay. They've proven it, you know, time and time again, not only against the Mariners, but against everyone. 1-0 pitch, high and away, stolen bag attempt. And they say safe. Mateo with the stolen bag. Two balls and no strikes to Drake Baldwin. Let's go. Two-0 pitch, high and away. Cutter, 89 miles an hour. 3 balls and no strikes to Drake Baldwin. Three-0 pitch, popped up and out of play. You know, we've actually gotten better throws, you know, to throw guys out from Pareda, you know, yesterday, and then with Garver overall. You know, Cal, you know, was kind of throwing wide right and throwing, you know, even above and beyond, you know, past, you know, JP Crawford or Cole Young. And, you know, when it goes into the outfield, when you're trying to pick off a guy, that's not ideal. But, you know, hopefully the soreness in Cal's body, you know, obviously, and you have to assume him playing so much last year, you know, definitely carried over into this year as well. You know, and we were lucky that he didn't really have any major injuries, and he hit 60 home runs, should have won MVP or co-MVP with Judge. And it shows you, you know, he probably will only hit, you know, 30 home runs this year. He'll probably get half of what he got last season. So I don't think people really realize, you know, at least, you know, the people that are bandwagon fans and only going to vote for Judge and Ohtani every year. 3-2 pitch. And that ends up going foul. But, you know, it's hard enough to get 60 home runs if you're an outfielder, you know, and, you know, you're one of those studs, you know, that can do it, you know. But again, to be a catcher and to be able to hit that number, especially when, you know, normally guys are, you know, catching, you know, hitting under 40 home runs, you know, I don't think people really will truly appreciate Cal's season from last year until, you know, quite a few years down the road. And then they reflect and look back and say, damn, how did he do that? And obviously with no steroids or PEDs, you know, Cal's a big boy. And Logan DeBaldwin ends up taking a walk there on pitch number 7. And now we got runners at first and second with one out. And hopefully we can get a double play here. We need a slow dribbler up the middle. And again, just a nice soft throw to Naylor to get this double play. 0 for 1 with a K is Ozzie Albies. Come on, Gilbert. Popped up. Looks like we're not going to get the double play, but Randy is there in deep left field. Oh, did he get it? Okay, gosh, that got me a little nervous. You saw the runners running, like as if Randy missed it, but Randy ends up getting the catch. And again, I'll be honest, I'm nervous on those high throws from the catcher as well, but I get nervous when balls go to Randy or if they go into right field, no matter who's there. Luke Raley, Dominic Canzone. Obviously, we'll have Victor Robles at some point this season, but, I feel pretty confident with Julio more times than not, but nice job there by Randy making another play defensively, showing some hustle and making some great plays with some pop-ups. Next up now is Matt Olson. So the double play is off the board, but hopefully we'll keep it at 1 here. First pitch, low and away. Curveball, 81 miles an hour, missing by a couple inches. 1-0 count. Runners on the corners with 2 outs, top of the 3rd inning, 1-0 Braves. We just got to be able to minimize the damage that they're going to bring, to our pitchers, and hopefully the bats will come alive. 1-0 pitch. High and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Matt Olson. Logan Gilbert on the mound. Matt Olson in the box. 2-0 pitch. Fouled off behind the T-Mobile bricks. 2 balls and 1 strike with runners on the corners at first and third and 2 outs. Top of the 3rd inning, 1-0 Braves. And again, we want to be as close as possible throughout, this series in each game because we know how good the Braves are. They got the best record in baseball, 25-10, which is saying a lot, considering how good the Dodgers and the Padres and the Yankees and a few other teams have been this year. 2-1 pitch. Low and at the knees. 3 balls and 1 strike to Matt Olson. But with the Ronald Acuna Jr. grade 1 hamstring injury this weekend, you would assume that it'll affect the team a little, but, maybe not as much as, people truly think. 3-1 pitch. High and away. And that is another walk. And now we got bases loaded with 2 outs. Come on, Logan. We already, have one pitcher in Luis Castillo that should get replaced, by Bryce Miller or Cade Anderson whenever that happens. And we can move Castillo into the pen or send him to AAA if they allow him to go that route or whatever we need to do to get him out of the starting 5. Logan Gilbert, not really fully trustworthy. Terrible at the beginning of the year. Was kind of getting better, but still not really fully trustworthy. Woo, normally we trust, but has been terrible. Giving up 13 runs in his last 2 starts. Not ideal. And really the 2 guys that we love and trust, Emerson Hancock and George Kirby, sometimes they don't get the run support that they deserve. And, 14 Ks by Hancock is an MLB high, and we still couldn't even win against the Royals when he got 14. So, 2 pitchers out of 5 in the starting lineup being, good right now is not ideal, but especially with the injuries to Brash and Spire and Mooney not being reliable either. It's just like so many things that are not trustworthy right now. But on the flip side, I do trust Bizzardo, and I really, really like Hoppy. And I think that could be maybe our saving grace. First pitch, high and away. Slider, 85 miles an hour there by Gilbert. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, 2 ball, line drive to Randy. And there we go. Randy, an early hero today. And again, that could have been really bad. We know if it ends up being a ground ball, singles turn into doubles, doubles turn into triples. And if you got bases loaded and a ball gets past Randy and it's a ground ball in left field, the score could be 3 or 4-0 right now. So great job there by Randy, which we don't say that often, but, little slow dribbler, nice hustle to first base, running out the throw. Making some pretty, nasty defensive plays there in left field. And this is the version of Randy that we all have, dreamed about, someone that actually cares about the game, shows hustle and initiative, and keeping the game in reach for the Mariners after getting swept by the Royals. Nice job, Randy. And I hope I get to say that more often throughout the year. instead of saying, oh God, he's terrible there in left field on ground balls and he doesn't hustle and, this and that. So nice job, Randy Arosarena. Now let's see if we can get on the board and tie it up or take the lead. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Defense keeping us in it. Next up for the Mariners at third base in the 9-hole, Leo Rivas. Let me see you drop a bunt down. Batting second, 0-for-0 with a walk. Shortstop, J.P. Crawford, same thing. Let me see you drop a bunt down at some point in the game, but I like the patience in the box, taking the walk on that first at-bat. And batting third, 0-for-1, center fielder, Julio Rodriguez. And we're definitely going to need you to be the man if we have any chance in this series, especially when we don't know if Cal will be back, starting tomorrow or on Wednesday, or if he'll be on the 10-day IL. Let's hope that he isn't on that because, again, with no Donovan, it's been hard enough to compete in games. And then without Donovan and Cal, it's really going to be hard. Let's go to the bottom of the third inning. We're down by a run, but let's see if we can tie this up or take the lead. Try to fence up. Let's go M's. Gain 1 sub since the last commercial break. Appreciate you. 27 subs to go to 24,000. First pitch to Rivas. Takes a strike looking high and inside. 0-1 count. All right, we're at 61 likes, 39 more to get to 100. We got 145 in the room. And we're still looking for our first dono on our dono train. 0-1 pitch, low and away. Sinker at 92 miles an hour there by J.R. Ritchie. 1 ball and 1 strike to Leo Rivas. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Leo. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. Down goes Rivas, and that is 1 away. I would have liked to seen Rivas try to get a bunt down. Play a little small ball. Let's see them freak out on defense and make a wild throw to first on a bunt so we can end up starting a rally. Down goes Leo. Big swing and a miss, and that is 1 away. Next up, leadoff hitter, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. First pitch to J.P. Crawford. Curveball, high and inside, 80 miles an hour by Ritchie, 0-1 count. Come on, J.P. 0-1 pitch, high and away. Right on the corner. If they had an ABS challenge, that would have been maybe one that they could have got overturned, but they used them all up there in the first inning. Slider, 87 miles an hour by Ritchie. 1 ball and 1 strike to J.P. 1-1 pitch, fouls it off towards left field and out of play. Change up 89 miles an hour there by J.R. Ritchie. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Bottom of the third inning, 1-0 Atlanta. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees. Good patience there by Crawford, not getting baited and jammed with that pitch there by Ritchie. 4-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour. High and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. 2-2 pitch, hard hit ball into deep left field. And it's 1 away. Turns into 2 away. Good defense out there in left by Atlanta. And hopefully J.P. will be able to get something going before this one is over. Nice catch there by Mike Yastrzemski, the former Giant. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, J-Rod. We need you, baby. First pitch to Julio, big swing and a miss. 0-1 count. Come on, J-Rod. We're going to have to lean on J-Rod more than ever, with the Donovan and Cal injury. Come on, Julio. 0-1 pitch, a little slow dribbler towards third. Throw to first, and not in time. Would have liked to seen a little bit more hustle there from Julio running to first, but, it is what it is. Maria with the tour. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. $2 holla on the Dono train. We're at 298 to go. Appreciate you very, very much. Shout out to Maria. All right, end of the third inning, 1-0 Braves. Let's see who's up next here for Atlanta as we go to the top of the fourth inning. Next up for the Braves in the 5-hole, third baseman 0 for 1, Austin Riley. Batting second, 1 for 1, left fielder, the former Giant, Mike Yastrzemski. And batting third in the 7-hole, 0 for 1, catcher Sean Murphy. And let's take a look at the stats so far early on. Logan Gilbert, 3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 2 Ks, 43 pitches, 28 strikes with a 3.95 ERA. Gave up a home run to Drake Baldwin on the third pitch of the game. But since then, he's been pretty good. I mean, he's had a few hits here and there and, a walk here and there as well. But again, we haven't paid the price for his mistakes, at least just not yet. So thank God. And then as far as J.R. Ritchie, 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, 2 walks, 2 Ks, 46 pitches, 25 strikes, 2.35 ERA. So, Logan still looks shaky, and we have to be pleased and happy that we're only down a run. We could easily be down 4-0 right now. But again, we have to be able to hope that the bats can come alive. And, it definitely shows you, how inefficient, our lineup is sometimes with no Donovan and Cal in the lineup. It shows you how much we really need those two guys, Cal behind the plate and in the box, and Donovan at third and leadoff hitter, and again, no disrespect to JP Crawford, but Brandon Donovan, was the closest thing to Ichiro we had as a leadoff hitter. And, JP will try his best, but he is no Brandon Donovan. Another $2 holla there by Just. Appreciate you. We're at 496 to go. First pitch takes a strike, looking right down the middle with a off-speed slider, 85 miles an hour. Oh, 1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, low and at the knees. Slider 86 miles an hour there by Walter, a.k.a. Logan Gilbert. 1 ball and 1 strike to Austin Riley. 1-1 pitch. Popped up. Rayleigh is there. And there we go. And that is 1 away. Riley flies out to Rayleigh, and that is 1 away. Yeah, and again, I think for a lot of the casual fans and, the fair weather fans, this is too much, for their brain to handle. But again, I've been a fan of this team since the mid-'80s, and I know some of y'all have been a fan that long or even longer. And we're, a little bit more, mentally ready, when things end up kind of going sideways and whatnot, maybe than a newer fan to the team and whatnot. But again, going into last year, I think they said that we were 35 and 34, 1 game above 500 at 69 games at that point. So yeah, we're 3 games below 500, but it's not like we really took off until, hitting like 90 plus wins, until we ended up hitting that, after the All-Star break, summer, kind of mode. So we are a second half team, and a lot of us know that. 0-1 pitch. Takes a strike, looking high and away. No balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Yastrzemski. Mando with the tour. Appreciate you. But no matter what happens, this is my favorite team, to root for. And again, we'll always be able to vibe together, and we'll be able to have some therapy together as well. Mando with the tour. Appreciate you. That's 6. 94 to go. Appreciate the 3 of you so far starting the Dono train. 1-2 pitch from Gilbert. Little dribbler right up the middle. Cole Young, as clutch as ever. Throw to Naylor, and that is 2 away. There we go. Next up in the 7-hole, catcher Sean Murphy. But again, you're going to have adversity. We were the worst hitting team in baseball prior to that Astros series, but we're no longer that team anymore. But unfortunately, once we cured the hitting, woes that we had, batting 188 as a team, then the starting pitching, started to get unreliable. Guys that we normally trust, like Wu, are being, a little untrustworthy in the last 2 starts. And then we've had all these injuries to the bullpen. Mooney's not trustworthy. And then injuries to Cal and Brandon Donovan. I mean, imagine, other teams having what we're dealing with. They would probably have the same record as us or maybe even worse, 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. Like, imagine the Yankees without Judge, and obviously we know Skubal ended up, going down today and is going to be out for a few months. But, when you end up, Dodgers, even if Ohtani is out, they still got Kyle Tucker and Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. So, the Dodgers are kind of in a category of their own, but again, you know what I mean? If you end up losing some of your top guys, it's hard to compete. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, down he goes. And that's a nasty slider there by Logan Gilbert. And again, he gave up a home run on the 3rd pitch of the game. Has been a little shaky here and there, but overall, he's only given up 3 hits. He's had walks, to make it bases loaded. But again, thankfully, we're keeping this game in reach, and it's only 1-0. So at least it's not like the, Luis Castillo, where he's, great for 3 innings and then gives up 4, and then the game essentially was over. So, I trust Logan Gilbert more than Luis Castillo. And I know that he can get back to being in that good graces of Mariner fans with Kirby and Emerson Hancock. And same thing with Wu. He's had 2 bad starts. It's definitely a little bit mental now. And hopefully Wu will be able to turn it around as well. Now let's go to the bottom of the 4th inning, and we got to find a way to get on the board. Let's go M's. Next up for the Mariners, 0-for-1 in the 3-hole, first baseman Josh Naylor. Let's go Nails. Batting second, 1-for-1, left fielder, cleanup hitter Randy Arozarena. So far, the MVP of the game, even though we're at 0, has made some plays offensively and defensively. Let's go, Randy. Can you get a home run today? We need you. And batting third, 0-for-1, the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. And if we could just get Canzone and Luke Raley not to, be stressing out and pressing so much, and if they let the game come to them, then we can actually get, some big hits or potential RBIs or home runs out of Canzone and Raley. Try ends up. Let's go M's. But no matter how sideways and bad things get, I will always be here and will always be positive. Now, we'll obviously call a spade, when things are going bad, but, there's no reason to, pile on when you know where you're at. 27 subs away from 24,000. Let's go. We're at 6 on the Dono train, 94 to go. And we're at 69 likes, 31 to 100. First pitch from J.R. Ritchie to Josh Naylor, high and away, curveball, 80 miles an hour, 1-0 count. And I don't think Mariner fans really understood how big Brandon Donovan is to this team. Based on how he played early on when the team sucked, but him and Cole Young were carrying the team, and he was batting 300 to 350, in stretches. And again, he's playing a new position at third. He made a few mistakes, but he actually made some pretty good plays there as well. And not having a good leadoff hitter really hurts your team. And then on top of that, losing a player like Cal Raleigh, not ideal. But I know things are going to get better. 2-0 pitch, hard hit ball, past the first baseman. I like that. Olsen with no play there. Eli White there in right field, and a nice single there by our boy Nails, Josh Naylor. My boy, way to bring the electricity, Nails. Let the game come to you, baby. Leg kick, leg kick, leg kick. Nice job. Next up in the 4-hole, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. Let's go, Randy. First pitch to Randy, fouls that one off into right field. Sinker, 92 miles an hour, 0-1 count. It would be awesome if this ends up being like the Randy game, where he's making plays, in the box, goes 3 for 5, hits a home run, makes more defensive, web gems, and, helps us win. It would be awesome to be able to have a player that's criticized actually be, one of the reasons that we do well. But he's about to hit into a double play, throw to first, and got him. Unfortunate double play there for Randy. And we've hit into 2 so far. We've been able to get 1 in return, but hopefully we'll be able to get a double play back on them. And that's just unfortunate there by Randy Rosarina. That is 2 away. Still could end up being a factor of us winning this game later. Next up in the 5-hole, DHing the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. Come on, Dom. First pitch, takes a strike looking, high and away, sinker at 92 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Come on, Dom. And there we go, Dom on the 0-1 pitch, a little dribbler that gets in between second and third base, and Dominic Canzone with a nice single. And it kind of makes you think if Randy would have been able to get a single there, Dominic would have been able to get the RBI and we would be tied 1-1 right now. But it just shows you how hard it is to get 3 guys to get a hit in a row. It's not easy. Nice job by Dom. Next up is Luke Raley. Let the game come to you. We could always use a nuke from Luke, but I'll take a single or double as well. Come on, Luke. First pitch to Luke. Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not. Off-speed curveball, 81 miles an hour, 1-0 count. J.R. Ritchie on the mound, Luke Raley in the box. And obviously it feels like it's going to be, one of those grinded out 2-1, 3-2, 4-3 kind of games. And we just had to hope that we can get something on Ritchie. And then if not, then hopefully the bullpen will have a meltdown and we'll be able to do some damage there against Atlanta. 1-0 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Change up. Low and away. 88 miles an hour there by J.R. Ritchie. Nice pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike to Luke Raley. One pitch popped up, and that will be out number 3. Luke pops up, and that is the end of the 4th inning. 1-0 Atlanta. 1 run, 3 hits, and no errors for the Braves. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Mariners. Just the difference is one of their 3 hits was the home run, and ours have been just pretty much singles. At least we're not getting blown out like 9-0 right now. Got to be positive. Next up for the Braves as we go to the top of the 5th. 0-for-1 in the 8-hole, right fielder Eli White. Batting second, 1-for-1 in the 9-hole, shortstop Jorge Mateo. And batting third, 1-for-1 with a run, RBI, and a base on ball. DHing with the home run early in the 1st inning, Drake Baldwin. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. End of the 4th inning, 1-0 Atlanta. All right, we're at 77 likes, 23 to 100. We've already hit into 2 double plays, which is unfortunate. We've been able to get 1, and hopefully we'll be able to get a double play to get a little revenge and payback for what they did to us on that last inning. But again, it shows really how important, Cal and Donovan are to this team. It's like, it's not as bad as when we have a, righty lineup, but again, it's like if we're going to have Canzone and Raley play, when we go against a right-handed pitcher, we need those guys to be productive. And with Rob Snyder and Connor Joe, they were terrible early on, but then they kind of got better. But we can't rely on those guys, to bring it and win it for us every game when they play. So, and obviously having Mitch Garver, instead of Cal Raleigh is a pretty big downgrade. So, got to just be able to hang tough the best that we can. First pitch, high and inside to Eli White, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Beautiful cutter there by Gilbert. Right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gilbert to White. Top of the 5th inning in a pitcher's duel. 1-0 Braves. 1-1 pitch. Little dribbler towards third. Leo is there. Leo, strong throw to first. Got him. Leo's been fantastic at third base today. There's been some plays in the past where, some of those balls would have gotten past him, but he has been great today, on a lot of these hard hit balls by the Braves. Nice job there by Leo Rivas. Next up in the 9-hole, shortstop Jorge Mateo. First pitch to Mateo, pops it up, and out of play. 0-1 count. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Got to find a way. The Mariner Moose is going to have to come out a lot earlier. Usually we have that come out towards the end, but probably going to bust it out here momentarily. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Nasty off-speed curve there by Logan Gilbert. Mateo didn't know what was coming. No balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Mateo. Let's see if we can get a punch out here from Gilbert. But if it ends up being a pop-up or a ground out, at this point, we'll take anything. Oh, 2 pitch. Low and into the dirt. And gets away from Garver. Come on, Logan. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Mateo. One-two pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Mateo. Two pitch. Little dribbler towards third. Leo is there. Another strong throw. Got him. Leo Rivas, man. I like it. Randy's making plays in left field. Leo's making plays. Let's go at third base. I love it. And that is 2 away. Great defense by Rivas and Orosarena today. Next up with 2 outs. Home run in the first inning on the 3rd pitch. Drake Baldwin. First pitch, low and away. Curveball, 78 miles an hour to Drake Baldwin, 1-0 count. Gilbert on the mound. Drake Baldwin in the box. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. I'm impressed. Randy's played great. Leo's played great, besides Randy hitting into the double play, of course. But, again, there's still time, for some of these guys to make a big play in the box. 1-0 pitch. Check swing. Did he go? And he did not. Slider low and away. 86 miles an hour there by Gilbert. 2 balls and no strikes to Drake Baldwin. Two-0 pitch. Big swing and a miss. High and away. 4-seam fastball. 94 miles an hour there by Walter, a.k.a. Logan Gilbert. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and 2 outs. Top of the 5th inning, 1-0 Braves, and it's been a pitcher's duel. Only 3 hits apiece. And again, one of the 3 for the Braves was a home run on the 3rd pitch in the 1st inning to Drake Baldwin. Other than that, it's been very even. We just need to be able to have our moment. 2-1 pitch. Popped up. Should stay in play. Julio there in shallow center field. And that is out number 3. Great job there by Julio Rodriguez in the no-fly zone. And now let's go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and let's see if we can finally get on the board. We might just have to wait until, J.R. Ritchie exits, but I'm hoping that we'll be able to rough him up a little bit here. Nice job there by Julio. Next up, 0 for 1 in the 7-hole, second baseman Cole Clutch Young. We need you to be clutch right now. Batting second, 0 for 1, catcher Mitch Garver. Let's go, Mitch. Make something happen. And batting third in the 9-hole, playing great defense today, 0 for 1 with a K, third baseman Leo Rivas. And I'm going to bust out the Mariner Moose, and hopefully this will give us that, Soto mojo and that Uncle Mo, that momentum that we need here moving forward. Usually good things happen when the Moose comes out. And normally the Moose will come out in the 8th or the 9th or maybe an extra innings. But let's see if the Moose can give us a little good luck here in the bottom of the 5th. Paisley's in the room now, missing Daddy. He's going to watch a little bit of the game with us. Let's go to the bottom of the 5th, 1-0 Atlanta. 27 subs away from 24,000. We're at 6 on the Dono train, 94 to go. And we're at 80 likes, 20 more to get to 100. May the 4th be with you. First pitch from Richie DeYoung, high and away, 1-0 count. Four-seam fastball, 91 miles an hour there by J.R. Richie. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and no strikes to Cole Young. Come on, Cole. We need you to be as clutch as ever. 2-0 pitch to Young. Pops it up and behind the plate and foul. Cutter, 88 miles an hour there by J.R. Richie. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and no outs. Bottom of the 5th inning. 1-0 Atlanta. And again, Gilbert has pitched well. We just need the offense to do their job. 2-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Off-speed curveball, 81 miles an hour there by Richie. That was nasty. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Cole Young. Come on, Cole. 2-2 pitch to Young, and a little dribbler towards first. Olsen is there, toe tap on the bag, and that is 1 away. Next up in the 8-hole, catcher Mitch Garver. On deck is Leo Rivas. And again, I hope we get a Leo or JP to bunt this game. Because again, if it's going to be like this type of game, sometimes, even just getting a bunt and having a wild throw to first starts a rally, and again, things haven't really been working up to this point, and sometimes you got to think outside the box a little bit. First pitch from Richie to Garver, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. Xavier in the building. What's good, brother? 0-1 pitch, a little slow dribbler. Albies throw to first, and that is 2 away. Can't really expect too much out of Mitch Garver. It's like he's going to get a hit or an RBI, every, maybe 3rd or 4th game, and then a home run maybe every, 10th to 15th game, something like that, or maybe even, more than that. So, he's not going to hit too many. Next up is Leo Rivas. First pitch to Rivas, ends up taking a strike right down the middle, 0-1 count. Now, Rivas has definitely saved us from this game being 3 or 4-0. Has made some really good plays on hard hit balls right in his area. And again, we see if the bat can come alive. We're going to definitely need it. 0-1 pitch. Takes another strike there down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes from Richie to Rivas. Good pitchers duel here so far. Come on, Mariner Moose. We need some of that Uncle Mo. Oh-2 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Bottom of the 5th inning, 1-0 Atlanta. One-two pitch, and it hits him. There we go. It hits Leo Rivas in the foot. Hopefully he's okay. And now we got a runner at first. There we go, Leo. Again, but there's going to be times where things are going great, and everyone's on cloud nine. And then other times, we're going to get together and have a little therapy session. You have to understand it's not like everyone is healthy and everyone's playing bad. I mean, we have injuries and we have players also playing bad. We don't have our number 1 or our number 3 guy in the pen. No Brash, no Spire. Mooney is terrible, right? Castillo is terrible. Woo's been terrible the last 2 starts. Hancock has been a gem. Gilbert has been, better. And Kirby has been a gem, and Donnie and Cal have been hurt on top of that as well. So it's not like, all our guys are healthy and we're just playing terrible. Some guys are obviously shitting the bed, but it's a combination of things, First pitch from Richie to Crawford, big swing and a miss, 0-1 count. But again, once we get Donovan back, it's going to give us a huge lift, and hopefully we get Cal back tomorrow. Otherwise, he'll be on the 10-day IL, more than likely. 0-1 pitch, high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to JP Crawford. But once we get Cal and Donnie back in the lineup, it'll feel more like a regular lineup, having Donovan lead off. And I think, people don't really realize how important he is to this team. When Donovan plays, we win. When he doesn't, we typically don't. He's that important to the team, to be able to get guys on base early and often. And even though Rivas has had a good game at third today, Donnie is better at third base. 1-1 pitch, Rivas goes, and JP just gets a piece, and it goes back to the T-Mobile bricks. Curveball, 81 miles an hour there by Richie, who's pitched well today. 1 ball and 2 strikes to JP Crawford. Yeah, but also, we're playing the number 1 team in baseball. They're 25-10, number 1. 13-4 on the road. They're a good team. They don't have Ronald Acuna Jr., so at least we have to be happy about that. He had the grade 1 hamstring, so he'll be out for a while, but we don't have Cal and Donnie, so obviously we're still going to feel enough pressure from the Atlanta batters and pitchers that, this is not going to be easy. But if we can somehow, some way find a way to win this game, we might be able to win 2 out of 3. Where most people think we're just going to get swept like that Royal Series is based off record alone. 2 pitch, high and inside. Count now is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes with the runner at first. Rivas getting hit in the foot moments ago with 2 outs. But again, I've been a fan of this team since the mid '80s, and we got a little spoiled last year, based on what happened. And again, expectations were very, very high. Maybe so high that a lot of fans can't handle, us losing. But if you've been a fan since the 70s or the 80s, like myself, I watched this team from beginning to end for 20 years straight with no hope of making a playoff ever in 20 years. So again, if you're a fan of this team, you have to be mentally tough. It's not going to be, for just anybody. If you get rattled easy, then this is not the team for you. 3-2 pitch, low and away. Did he go? No, he didn't. And JP forces a walk. Nice job. It's not like this team, the Mariners, are like the Dodgers where, they're making the playoffs year in and year out and we're spending the most money. And, we got all these Hall of Famers on the team. And, even when they have injuries, they can still, win 90 to fucking 115 games. It's like, this is not the Dodgers, But I honestly think things are going to get better. Even last year, having a great season, through the first 69 games, I think we were 35-34. So just kind of hovering, over 500 until after the All-Star break, and then, kind of got hot. So, and that's typically what the Mariners do. If you're a fan, you know that, right? Usually we struggle in the first half of the season, and then the second half we get hot, and not just Julio, but the team in general. And we're going to be buyers at the deadline every year moving forward to try to make this team the biggest competitor to the Yankees, and see what happens. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. We got runners at first and second with 2 outs, and we desperately need Julio to get a home run or RBI here. First pitch is low and away. Change up, 87 miles an hour. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Julio Rodriguez. But, even if, Dank, even if you've been a fan, for that amount of time, or even if someone has been a fan of 5 years or less, or even just when we got Cal and Julio, and you've only been a fan since 2022, again, it's one of those things. You're going to have peaks and valleys with this team. But when we win and when we go on win streaks, it's going to be cloud 9. We're going to be so hyped, but when we lose, again, just like every other fan of baseball, it's fucking emotional damage. It stings. It fucking bleeds over from one day to the next, but you got to be positive. 3-0 pitch, high and away, and we're having a mini meltdown here from Richie, and we got bases loaded with 2 outs for the guy that we probably want up right now, Josh Naylor. He got a hit early in the game. Naylor can open this game up, with a home run to make it 4-1, or even getting a single or double and making the game, 1-1, 2-1, or even 3-1. Let's go Naylor. The Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz, Kyle Seager, Felix Hernandez days. I feel you. First pitch, check swing. Low and at the knees, 1-0 count. I mean, even if we end up getting Richie to walk, Naylor, and then we get a cheap one from third to come home, we'll take anything. If you hit Naylor, and he doesn't get hurt, you walk him, just let's get this game tied up and see if we can take advantage. 1-0 pitch, popped up and out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike to Josh Naylor. Let's go, Josh. Yeah. And again, you've been a fan for 14 years. Imagine some of the people in the room, or even myself being a fan, since the 70s or the 80s. You want to be able to see playoff and World Series. Think about those people. Little dribbler towards first. Shit! And it's right to Olsen. Toe tap on the bag. And we leave 3 stranded, unfortunately. And Richie gets bailed out there with another hit to Olsen, but it doesn't go past him. And now that's the end of the 5th inning, 1-0 Atlanta. A little bit of bad luck here for the Mariners. But again, we are going against the number 1 team in the Atlanta Braves. But, there's a lot of us, that have been dreaming, of, not just playoffs on a regular basis, but yeah, that World Series. And we're the only team that's never been. But on the flip side, to be positive about it, we've had some of the greatest players to ever wear baseball cleats in Seattle. Ken Griffey Jr. No one can replicate that. Fantastic player. Never cheated, never did PEDs, got fat, and ended up coming back to the Mariners and then retired, but did it the right way. A good human being on and off the field. Randy Johnson, Edgar Martinez, Ichiro Suzuki. I mean, just those 4 players alone, people would be drooling to be able to have a guy like that or guys like that, play for their favorite team. So, again, I know we're going to be able to get to a World Series at some point, but, you got to earn it. You got to crawl before you walk. End of the 5th inning. 1-0 Atlanta. And again, we've had a few opportunities with guys on base, but we haven't been able to cash in. But remember, prior to getting, Cal and Julio, if you have been a fan of this team for quite a while, remember those days when we didn't have Cal and Julio and this monster lineup of a team where we were striking out 15 to 20 times a game. And then we were doing that game in and game out. So you have to be thankful for the baseball that we've been able to watch since 2022. Getting Kirby, getting Julio, getting Cal. It's been a lot more exciting. And, you just have to be able to take it one step at a time. Next up for the Braves in the top of the 6th, 0 for 2 with a K, second baseman Ozzie Albies. Batting second, 0 for 1 with a base on ball and a K, first baseman Matt Olson. And batting third, the former Astro, 0 for 2 center fielder Mauricio Dubon. And again, for the Mariners, it's always one thing or another. It's like, the pitching is great, but then the bullpen stinks. The pitching stinks, but then all of a sudden we get, eight runs, the bullpen, they did a great job, but then the defense had 3 errors. It's always like one thing or another. It's really hard to be able to get everything to line up on top of the injuries that we have right now. And again, we have Dan Wilson as a manager, and sometimes he does a good job and sometimes not so much. 0-1 pitch to Albies, low and into the dirt. Bounces off Garver's chest protector there. Slider 86 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike to Ozzie Albies. And, Logan has done a good job. He's given up a few hits here and there and a few walks, but, he's got a 3-hitter. And that's the same thing for Richie. The only difference is they have a home run from Baldwin, and we don't have ours yet. 1-1 pitch. Hard hit ball by Albies. Deep center field, back, gone! And a big home run there by Ozzie Albies. And again, like I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, you have to be careful on how you pitch to Baldwin, leadoff hitter, right? Ozzie Albies, as well as Matt Olson. The rest of the 6 guys after them aren't going to do as much damage. And again, we have a home run from Baldwin, and lo and behold, a home run by Albies. But to be positive, At least it was only a solo dinger. At least we're not down 5-0 right now. The game is still in reach. But again, the bats need to come alive at some point. Next up is Matt Olson. And we just have to have, Logan give up less than 3. But again, it's tough, when they keep scoring and, we're still sitting at a 0. First pitch from Gilbert to Olson, low and away. Cutter, 91 miles an hour, 1-0 count. And a lot of times when a pitcher, overall, does a good job, but you don't get any runs and hits, then we start to be a little bit more critical, of when the pitcher gives up that big home run, even though overall, most guys give up, 1 to 3 runs every start. It's rare, for a pitcher to, give you, 10 Ks and the other, team has a 0. We're not going to get Emerson Hancock, type of performances that often. And let alone sometimes when you get those, you don't win, unfortunately. 2-0 pitch. Fouled off towards first base. Cutter, 91 miles an hour. But again, once we get to 1, we can kind of, stop the bleeding, so to speak, and put the Band-Aid on. And again, and then we'll feel like, okay, we have a chance. But the longer we sit at 0, it's going to feel like, oh gosh, are we ever going to get anything going? We've had a couple opportunities, but shows you how much we miss Cal and Brandon Donovan. I mean, you need a few more guys in this lineup. Or you call up Colt Emerson. What are you waiting for, Mariners? Same thing with Cade Anderson. 2-1 pitch. Popped up to deep center field. Back. Gone! Unbelievable. And there it is. I tell you about the 3 guys you need to worry about, and all 3 homer today. Solo dinger by Baldwin. Solo dinger by Albies. Solo dinger by Olson. And then right now we're in trouble because, again, we have no outs. Gilbert has to get pulled. The only guy that we can trust is Bizzardo and maybe Hoppy. And again, is there a possibility that they have a meltdown and we end up scoring 1 to 5 runs, later in this game? Yes, there's a chance. But again, the longer that they keep putting runs up on the board, it's going to make it extra tough there. And again, Gilbert giving up home runs to the 3 guys that we couldn't give up home runs to. And now we're down 3-0. First pitch to Dubon, takes a strike looking with a cutter, low and away, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, little dribbler towards third and foul. Yeah, but Dank, everyone is in the same boat, I mean, based on how the Mariners have played, we could all have fucking, crazy ass meltdowns, but again, what's that going to do? It's not going to, having meltdowns every inning, and every game and screaming at the top of your lungs and acting a fool is not going to make the Mariners score runs, unfortunately, So it's like at some point we can be frustrated together, but we have to be able to rally together as well. Got to be as positive as possible. Pitch fouled off there by Dubon, the former Astro, and you know how we feel about Astros, especially former Astro players. No balls and 2 strikes to Mauricio Dubon. Line drive to Cole Young, and that is 1 away. Down goes Dubon. Next up is Austin Riley. Yeah, again, see, and again, it's all about, things look bad now, but, you can definitely tell, who's got negative energy, and it's easy to be negative, it's easy to be a bad person and be negative all the time, about not only the Mariners, but about just, everything in life, but again, it takes a real one, to try to look at the, the bright side of things, even when things are going bad. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike to Austin Riley. You always got to have that blind faith. 1-1 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Gilbert to Riley. And then, for some people, they're just going to be mad because they're not winning their bet. They're not even Mariner fans. They just like to bitch and moan because they're not going to win their parlay. There's a difference, 2-1 pitch, back, gone. And that's 3 home runs given up by Logan Gilbert. And Austin Riley says, let me get in on the party. And I'm, again, when we have no Brash, we have no Gabe Spire. Now we only have Bizzardo and Hoppy. And, Logan Gilbert, it's not good this year. Luis Castillo, trash, not good this year. Brian Wu hasn't been good in his last 2 starts. So think about what we have. We can't trust our closer. We can't trust 3 of our starters. We only have 1 or 2 guys out of 10 in the bullpen that are playing good, and we have Cal and Donovan injured. I mean, it's just, it's pouring salt in the wound. It hurts, knowing that we have so many injuries and so many fucking guys playing bad. We're better than this, but, momentum goes both ways. When things are going good, momentum goes in your favor. But when things are going bad, when it rains, it pours. And we're fucking getting rained on right now, big time. Logan does not look, like the Logan that, I used to know. And now we got Hoppy warming up, and they probably should have had him, already come in already. But, that's Dan Wilson for you. But again, trust is earned, and again, I just don't really trust a lot of the players on the Mariners right now. It's just, I wish I could say with a straight face that I can trust, certain people, but I trust people based off consistency and good play. And there's not too many of those on the team right now. 0-1 pitch, a little slow dribbler. Naylor is there, flip to Gilbert, toe tap on the bag, and that is 2 away. And I guess on the bright side, it could be worse. We could be down 10-0 right now, but 4-0, man. 4 solo dingers. And how often does that happen? Where you give up 4 home runs and they're all solo dingers, but it's not like our offense has been able to, get off this donut, this 0 yet, but you never know. All it takes is one pitcher to have a meltdown and we're right back into the game, like Xavier said. So, but if Logan keeps pitching like this, it's going to be extra tough. 1-0 pitch, high and away. 1-0 count. Appreciate you. One 0 pitch. Takes a strike, looking on the line with a cutter, 90 miles an hour, 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody on and 2 outs. Top of the 6th inning, 4-0 Braves. And again, for the casual fan, the bandwagon fan, they've already hopped off the train and whatnot, but it's not like, I can turn the game off. I do this as a job, so for a lot of people in the chat, you have the option, to go leave or, run errands or turn it off if you want to, if you're pissed and whatnot, so, to be able to go through every game, beginning to end, every pitch, it definitely builds character. You go through the ups and you go through the downs, but again, somebody's got to be able to cover this team to the fullest. And, I'm proud to do that. 2-1 pitch, takes a strike, looking high and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Top of the 6th inning, 4-0 Atlanta. Two pitch, high and inside. Count now is 3 balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Murphy. And I don't know if Gilbert will ever be the Gilbert, that we saw, a few years ago. Castillo definitely needs to go. JP will be gone after this year, and Colt Emerson will be with Cole Young. Obviously they're in the infield, which will be great. But again, Cade Anderson, Colt Emerson. I mean, again, how long are we going to wait? When we need fucking help. When we have 2 capable guys that could help the team right now. And it's not saying that if we call up Colt Emerson and have him start over JP and Cade Anderson ends up starting or being in the bullpen, that all of a sudden a switch is flipped and we automatically start winning games. But we definitely could use the help. And then when you got 2 capable guys that could help the team right now, what are we waiting for? Instead of, calling up some other random guy from, the Tacoma Rainiers, let's bring up some guys to help us and also give the fans a little bit of, boost of juice and energy, when things are going bad, at least give us something to root for, right? 3-2 pitch. And that is strike 3 looking, but not after Gilbert ends up giving up 3 solo dingers in the inning. And, I don't know, I don't really have a whole lot of faith about Logan Gilbert, moving forward in his career, just the way that he pitches and his demeanor, And, and again, I know he's been a former all-star and whatnot. And, we know Emerson Hancock used to be terrible and is having a good year. And we need to be able to see more consistency out of Hancock after this year. Is it just like a flash in the pan? Like, 1 year where he does great and then he goes back to being the Emerson Hancock that we all know, giving up 5 to 10 runs like Castillo? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And then we'll have Bryce Miller coming back, but, Kirby's been good this year. Hancock has been phenomenal. Wu has been, pretty good besides the last 2 starts. He hasn't really gotten run support, but giving up 13 runs in the last 2 definitely is not ideal. And now Gilbert and Castillo are at the bottom where you can't trust either one of them. And then Munoz, can't trust him. And now we don't have Brash and Gabe Spire, even though we don't really care so much for Gabe. But, sometimes Gabe will get us out of a jam. He also will fuck things up sometimes as well. But on the bright side, Alex Hoppe is nice, so that could take the Gabe Spire spot for now, but, not having 2 out of your best 3 in the pen, your closer sucks, 3 out of your 5 starters suck right now, and then you have no Cal and Donovan, it's just so many fucking things right now that are going against us. But, with that being said, you just have to have that blind faith that at some point, we'll be able to turn it around, but again, it frustrates me more than, just as anybody else in the room, but again, you guys have an option that I don't have, turning the game off. I don't have that option. So, but I wouldn't even turn it off. Even if I wasn't doing the channel, I still would be watching, the games from beginning to end, because that's the type of fan that I am. I love this team and I always will. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 6. And Logan Gilbert, put us in a fucking hole that we're not going to be able to climb out of, more than likely. And, ooh, nice jersey. 90s jersey night. I have a Ken Griffey Jr. jersey like that. Russell Athletic. Back from the 90s. Next up is Randy Arozarena. But that's one of my favorite authentic, jerseys. The Ken Griffey Jr. vested jersey from 97 with the matching turtleneck, which you can never find on eBay. 1-0 pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and no strikes to Randy Arozarena. We could definitely use a couple meltdowns, right? We are not in a very good position right here, and if we can get a meltdown by Richie and a meltdown by a couple of their bullpen guys, at least we could get off 0, and get at least a couple runs before this game is over. 2-0 pitch, high and inside. 3 balls and no strikes to Randy Arozarena. 3-0 pitch as he steps out of the box. And that is ball 4. Here we go. Little mini meltdown. Now let's see if we can fucking capitalize. We've had runners on base twice, right? First and second and bases loaded, and we got nothing, and again, having Cal and Donnie, could have maybe changed that, but, we don't have that option, at least at the moment. But let's see if Dominic Canzone, the Italian stallion, and Luke Raley can find a way to make something good happen here for us Mariner fans. First pitch in there to Dominic Canzone, in there for a strike. 0-1 count. Dom is 1 for 2 with a K so far, and it definitely feels like Dom and Raley have been pressing a little bit, but again, hopefully we get some magic here. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees, off-speed curveball, 82 miles an hour there by Richie. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at first and no outs. Bottom of the 6th inning, 4-0 Atlanta. One pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike from Richie to Canzone. Yeah, but it's always easy to be overly negative, especially when you're seeing all of these things, happening to our team. And we were one of the, last 3 teams left last year, us, Blue Jays, Dodgers. So obviously World Series expectations were through the roof, for a casual, bandwagon and hardcore fans, right? And then obviously to this very slow start and underwhelming start, bad start, but we can only go up from here. 3-1 pitch, high and away, and we get back-to-back walks, a little mini meltdown here from Richie. Now, the question is, with this mini meltdown, can we finally break through and get 1, 2, 3 runs? It would be nice. But now we're going to have a mound visit, and maybe Richie is done. Where's he at on pitch count? He's at 90, and Hefner comes out to talk to him. So he's at 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, 6 walks. Wow. 2 Ks, 90 pitches, 45 strikes, 2.08 ERA. But with 6 walks, we have nothing. We got to get on the board. Normally when teams have 6 walks, you have at least a run, most of the time 2. But again, we had runners at first and second stranded, runners at first, second, and third stranded. We hit into a couple double plays, 2 of them. So again, hasn't been, really ideal right now. But again, hopefully Luke Raley, can get us a nuke, and even when things look terrible, Luke Raley hits a home run, we're right back in it at 4-3, but it's hard to be able to see that perspective when you're getting your ass kicked over and over and over. And also in the previous series getting swept, it's really easy to fall into the trap of just, negative. And, oh, it's over. And sometimes you just have to, have a little bit of that blind faith. 1-0 pitch, fouled off, laser there. That ricochets off a seat, almost took someone's head off out there. Got to have your head on a swivel if you're at a game. 1 ball and 1 strike to Luke Raley. Yeah, unfortunately, there's not a lot of managers, that are good in MLB, though. 1-1 pitch, hard hit ball. Luke Raley, back, gone. Let's go. You asked for a 3-run home run, and I'll give it to you. Bang. I might be a fucking a prophet, I got the ESP. I'll tell you what could happen, and then 10 seconds later, it fucking happened. And we're going to have moments like this, right? There's the casuals that already turned the game off. The game's over. We fucking lost. The game's over. And like I said, get a home run right here, we're right back in it. 10 seconds later, boom, Luke Raley, 3-run blast, 4-3 Braves, and we're right back into the game. And again, getting your ass kicked for 6 innings sucks, but again, all you need is a mini meltdown by the starter or a bullpen, and you're right back in the game. There it is, Luke Raley. You ask for a nuke, you get it, and again, sometimes you just got to talk it into existence. The sports gods are listening. They said, man, this guy has been, going through hell, and back, as well as the people watching the games and in the chat. Something good has to happen. And, nice job there by Luke Raley. Let the game come to you. And Luke Raley with a big 3-run blast. And imagine, we would have taken a solo dinger. That would have been fine. They got 4 of them on that side. But again, getting a couple of those walks played right into the Mariners' hands. And Luke Raley doing a great job. And again, now we're right back in it. So again, casuals, they already turned the game off and went to do something else, to go drink or whatever. Bandwagon fans, they haven't even watched this game at all, And again, this is going to be, for the diehards, the Fanatics. There's a reason why we're called the Northwest Sports Fanatics, right? And that one feels good. Again, it's not like we won, but again, at least we know at this point we're going to have a chance. And, we ended up getting, maybe Richie at the very last moment, but we got him. And now we have to hope for a couple more meltdowns. And imagine if we come back and win this game. If we come back and win this game, we might actually be able to win 2 games out of 3 in this series. Nice job there by Luke Raley, bringing that electricity. You ask for a home run, the sports gods listen, and they give you a 3-run blast, and now it's 4-3. Nice job. All right, Tyler Kinley is coming in. Let's go, baby. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. That's why you're going to need someone like me to be, overly positive, instead of just being negative left and right. You just never know when that magic will happen. First pitch to Cole Young. High and away, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Cole Young. One pitch, pops it up behind the plate. Tyler Kinley on the mound. Cole Young in the box. One-two pitch, big, swing and a miss. Down goes Cole, and that is one away. Let's go, baby. 3-run blast, back-to-back walks, on the star pitcher, on Richie, and then Luke Raley with a 3-run blast. But, we'll usually have good ESP moments here. Usually, 1 to 3 every game. Sometimes we'll have 4 or 5. Where we're going to predict double plays, home runs, big plays and whatnot. But, sometimes you just need to be able to speak it into existence. And, sometimes the sports gods listen and sometimes they don't. But I'm really happy they decided to listen after us getting our ass kicked. 4 solo dingers, and Gilbert giving up 3 and then us getting 3 right back. I mean, the chance of that happening is almost like 0%, but we made it happen. 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Mitch Garver. Well, I'm not really the biggest fan of Dan Wilson, but Lou Pinellas don't grow on trees. And, really, out of 30 teams, there's only like 5 good managers. And then once a manager gets fired, and then they just go through a revolving door. It's not like we can grab, someone that won the Natty, in college and grab that kind of, coach and have that be the new manager. 3-0 pitch, and that is a walk. There we go. Mitch Garver to first. Next up is Leo Rivas. First pitch from Kinley to Rivas. Low and away in there for a strike. I wouldn't be challenging this, Leo. I don't think you're going to win this. But he might. Let's see. Oh, he does. Nice job. Call is overturned. I didn't know if he was going to get that call, but 0-1 turns into 1-0. 1-0 pitch to Rivas. High and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kinley to Rivas. One pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away, slider 87 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 1 out. Bottom of the 6th, 4-3 Atlanta. But Dan Wilson is almost a clone, of Scott Service. They kind of manage the game the same way, and a lot of managers are, managing kind of the same way, a very safe approach where they all kind of manage the game, that old school way, and they don't really like to take chances, and sometimes they leave guys in too long, bring in the wrong guy, and that's kind of the standard. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and down goes Rivas swinging, and that is 2 away. And just imagine if Logan didn't give up 3 home runs, they're in the top of the 6th, right? Maybe we have the lead, at this point, or at least the game is tied, but it is what it is. At least we're in striking distance now. But it really does stink only having 2 starters that you can trust, Hancock and Kirby, and I can't trust the other 3. And on top of not trusting Mooney either, it's like, golly, how many guys do we have that we can't trust that are pitchers, and then the other guys are injured, Brash and now Spire? It's like, can we cut a break? I mean, can we get a break for one? 1-0 pitch to JP, in there for a strike. Low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike to JP Crawford. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 1-1 pitch from Kinley. Check swing by JP. Did he go? And they said he went around. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 2 outs. Braves 4, Mariners 3. 3 solo dingers there by Atlanta in the top of the 6th. And back-to-back walks from Richie. And then Luke Raley with a big 3-run blast to get us back in the game. Huge. 1-2 pitch. high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. Come on, J.P. Tyler Kinley on the mound. J.P. Crawford in the box. 2-2 pitch. And J.P. pops it up and out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. Come on, J.P. Two pitch from Kinley. Low and at the knees. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Tyler Kinley to J.P. Crawford. Come on, J.P. 3-2 pitch. J.P. crushes it. Deep right field. Back. Gone. The game is tied. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Woo! We take the lead, baby. I forgot we had somebody on base. There we go. I love it, baby. 5-4 Mariners. And just like that, after being down 4-0, look at that. Look at that. A 3-run jack by Luke Raley and a 2-run jack by J.P. Crawford. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. And again, we know J.P. Crawford, has been shaky in the box and shaky, on defense the last couple weeks, but again, a lot of the casuals and the bandwagon and the people that just want to win their parlay, they turned the game off when it was 4-0. And again, we could have felt sorry for ourselves, but again, you have to have that blind faith, and again, this is an exact, instance of me trying to make sure that we stay positive as a group. And look at that. We get rewarded by 2 meltdowns that we asked for. And just like that, after getting our ass kicked for 6 innings, all of a sudden you look at the scoreboard and we put up 5 runs here in the 6th inning. I mean, who would have thought? I mean, that's why you need to be able to watch these games from beginning to end and not be negative and freak out, even when things are going bad, even in 5, 6, 7 innings in a row. As long as the game is still going, that means there's a chance for the Mariners to come back. And again, are we going to score 5 runs in an inning every time when we're down 4? Fuck no. But we did today. There we go. Luke Raley, 3-run blast. J.P. Crawford, 2-run jack. 5-4 Mariners. Let's go. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. 1-2 pitch. Julio. Deep hit ball all the way to the warning track, and that is out number 3. I mean, hell, I would have been okay with JP with a solo dinger to make it 4-4, but just a simple fact, that you got somebody already on base there, and JP crushes it. And just like that, after giving up 3 solo dingers, and, most, Mariner fans or even non-Mariner fans, it's over. And then all of a sudden, you ask for a mini meltdown, you get 2 mini meltdowns, and then we put up 5. 3-run jack by Luke Raley, 2-run bomb by J.P. Crawford, and lo and behold, we have the lead. 5-4 Seattle. And, again, for anybody, that wants to, be negative and be down and, give up and just be miserable, again, this will be a game that you can look back on if we win, that, hey, we've made comebacks before, just like in that game where, Brian Wu gave up 7 runs, in the first 3 innings, and then we came back and scored 2 in the 8th and 2 in the 9th, and we won 11-9. So it's not like we're going to come back all the time, but we do have the ability to come back, and we're definitely showing, what we can do. Rick Riz loves it. The NWSF loves it. Let's go to the top of the 7th inning. 5-4 Seattle. Fuck yeah. Trident's up. Next up, 0 for 2, right fielder Eli White. Batting second in the 9-hole, shortstop Jorge Mateo. And batting third, leadoff hitter, DHing Drake Baldwin. And you got home runs by Baldwin, Albies, Olsen, and Riley. But still, with 4 solo dingers, the two that we have are more powerful, and we got a 1-run lead. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Gained another sub since the last commercial break. 26 subs to go to get to 24,000. We're at 102 likes. All right, 48 more to get to 150. Let's go. It's just like me and Xavier said, it's like sometimes, you just have to have the blind faith. It's definitely easy to get negative, watching this team. So first pitch in there, high and inside, 1-0 count. Got Jose Ferrer in the game, and I don't trust him one bit, but we'll see what happens here. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss, sinker, 96 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike to Ferrer to White. One pitch, big swing and a miss there to White. 1 ball and 2 strikes. With nobody on and no outs, Mariners with a huge comeback, scoring 5 in the 6th, and now we have a 1-run lead. Now hopefully we can add on to it too. One-two pitch. Another ball there from Ferrer. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Ferrer to White. And a little dribbler up the middle to right field, and no surprise, Jose Ferrer cannot be trusted, and hopefully we can get a double play and bail him out of this jam that he'll probably put us in. Throw to first, and he is safe. And now Mateo is challenging. Oh, 1 pitch, fouled off. Sinker at 97 miles an hour, no balls and 2 strikes from Ferrer to Mateo. Oh, 2 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Ferrer to Mateo. And, I don't expect a whole lot of punch outs out of Ferrer, maybe 1 if we're lucky, but hopefully, he doesn't blow it here. But again, we don't have too many guys that are trustworthy. We got Bizzardo and Hoppy, and that's it. And 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. There we go. That might be the only punch out that we get out of him, but we'll take it. Nice job there by Jose Ferrer. Down goes Mateo, and that is 1 away. Next up, DHing Drake Baldwin. 1 for 2 with a run, RBI, and a base on ball. Had a home run on the 3rd pitch of the game to give them an early 1-0 lead. Whoa, first pitch almost hits Baldwin in the head. Has to jump out of the way. Slider 87 miles an hour. 1-0 count. Even calling Cade Anderson up and having him start in the pen to help us out would be huge for this team. Makes you kind of wonder, what are we doing? I mean, how long do we want to wait before we bring up, Cade as well as Cole Emerson? I hope both guys get called up as soon as possible. We definitely need them. 1-0 pitch. High and away. Sinker at 97 miles an hour there by Ferrer. 2 balls and no strikes to Drake Baldwin. Trident's up. Let's go, Ems. But this is a great example, of having that faith, when others give up. Little slow dribbler. Give me the double play. Give it to me. Throw to first, not in time. Kind of an awkward, throw based on where he was on the field. But at least we end up getting the fielder's choice, and that is 2 away. Baldwin safe at first. Valley's talking about if he would have flipped it to JP, he would have had a better chance. True. Albies with the pop-up. Luke Rayleigh is there, and that is out number 3. But, how many times have we seen JP with the transfer, not make the throw in time? Within the last couple weeks, we've seen him not being able to get that out quite a few times. So I don't really have a problem with Young trying, even though, it wasn't going to get done. But Jose Ferrer, we don't really trust the guy, but he did good. Right? So, sometimes you need to get a little bit of help from the defense behind you. When Ferrer comes in, he's going to give up a hit or walk a guy, and you probably are only going to get 1 strikeout. So then it's going to be up to the defense to get a ground ball, a pop-up, or a double play to bail him out. And we were able to bail him out. And again, hopefully, he'll continue, to work on his game. And again, with no Gabe Spire, obviously on the 15-day IL, that's going to be one of the main guys that we're going to have as far as a lefty in the pen, besides this guy that we got from the Braves recently, Jose Suarez. But we don't really know how good Jose Suarez will be. Will he be like Jose Ferrer, or will he be worse? Will he be better? We don't know. So we'll have to wait and find out. But nice job there by Jose Ferrer. The momentum obviously has been captured, and being down 4-0, now we're up 5-4, and hopefully we can put up a few more runs to give us the insurance that we're going to need. Now let's go to the bottom of the 7th and see if we can add on another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runs this inning. Let's go. Let's get another meltdown by another Brave pitcher. What do you say? Next up, 1 for 3, first baseman Josh Naylor. Batting second in the 4-hole, having a good game besides hitting into that double play, left fielder Randy Arozarena. And batting third in the 5-hole, DHing the Italian stallion Dominic Canzone. Trident's up. Let's go, Ems. Bummer is coming in. A Bummer. Aaron Bummer. And he's a lefty, so I assume that we'll see what happens with Canzone and what they decide to do there. Let's go, Naylor. First pitch from Bummer to Naylor, 1-0 count. And they just mentioned on the broadcast, Bummer has given up the most home runs out of any Penn pitcher, on the Braves. So let's see if we can, work our magic here. 1-0 pitch to Naylor. Hard hit ball, deep right field. Yes, fair. Get a double. Go, 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 Josh. Run. Run, Josh. Yes. And just like that, we're having 3 meltdowns by the Braves after them being up 4-0 with 4 solo dingers. And, 9 times out of 10, the Mariners lose a game like this. But again, if you have meltdowns, by your pitchers and your bullpen, we've seen it happen to us, right? You can come back. And just like that, Josh Naylor pouring salt into the wound, getting a stand-up double. Nice job, Josh. Next up, in the 4-hole, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Randy Hard hit ball, deep left field. Oh, all the way to the warning track and caught. I thought that was gone. And that is one away. That would have been huge if Randy would have been a homer there. That would have given us the insurance that we needed to make it 7-4, and just flies out right at the warning track. Down goes Randy, and that is one away. And normally it would be Dominic Canzone, but they're going to end up putting in the righties, I guess, for Canzone and Rayleigh. And we're going to go Rob Refsnyder and probably Connor Joe, I assume. I would just say let Luke Rayleigh stay out there. I mean, he had a 3-run bomb for us. Let him keep going. All right, let's see if Rob Refsnyder has a little bit of magic here. Hard hit ball. Refsnyder with a big hit. Naylor to third. Nice job, Rob. And it might be the only player, you know, that you can give the green light to swing at the first pitch. Rob Refsnyder is better than most at, you know, first pitch down the middle. Hey, I'm going to swing. And nice job there by Rob with a single to left. Naylor at third. Nice job. Now, is this going to be Connor Joe for Luke Rayleigh? Or do you let Luke stay out there because he hit the 3-run bomb? It's going to be Connor Joe. Everything going our way now. You know, and again, everything was going against us for 6 innings. And then now everything going our way in the bottom of the 6th. And now here in the bottom of the 7th. Now Connor Joe, let's see if Connor Joe can give us a little magic too. And we have seen Refsnyder and Joe, you know, get singles, doubles, and home runs lately after, you know, obviously starting off very slow. Refsnyder going 0 for 20 plus. But, you know, Joe's got a little bit of a pop in his bat. And he's, you know, decent in right field as well, you know, for, you know, a role player. But now we got runners at first and third with 1 out. I mean, even him getting an RBI single to make it 6-4 is huge for us based on us being down 4-0. 3-run jack by Rayleigh, 2-run bomb by JP Crawford. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. Curveball there by Bummer. No balls and 2 strikes to Connor Joe. Nice job there by Naylor. Nice job there by Rob Refsnyder. I like seeing everyone produce. You know, it doesn't have to be just the most popular guys, you know. It can be the role players and the lower guys too. 0-2 pitch to Joe. Low and at the knees. Curveball 80 miles an hour there by Aaron Bummer. Excuse me. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners on the corners at first and third and 1 out. Bottom of the 7th inning, 5-4 Mariners. And if we do find a chance to win this game, this will be one of the more satisfying wins of the season. You know, considering, you know, probably a quarter of the fan base that are fair weather or bandwagon turned the game off already when it was 4-0. So, you know, they can check their phone later tonight or tomorrow morning and, oh, the Mariners came back and won if that's the case, you know. And I mean, it's definitely hard to come back, you know, when you're down 4-0. There's no doubt about it, especially when the team got 4 fucking home runs to get those 4 runs, you know, solo dingers 4 times, but, you know, you can find a way. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Connor Joe. Yo, Joe. G.I. Joe, the real American hero. Still one of my favorite cartoons to this day. 2-2 pitch to Joe. Low and at the knees. Great patience there by Connor Joe. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Aaron Bummer to Connor Joe. Bottom of the 7th. Runners at first and third with 1 out. Even taking a walk here would be huge. Mike in the building. What's good? Big comeback here today, baby. And there we go. Joe taking the walk. You ask and you shall receive. Bases loaded with 1 out. And again, you know, we've seen, Mariner starters have meltdowns, and we've seen our bullpen have meltdowns, and it's just so refreshing to be able to see a fucking meltdown on the other side. Nice job. Joe walked, Refsnyder to second, and now we got our boy, Cole Clutch Young. Let's go, Cole. I mean, if you really want to fucking have us get out of our seats, you hit a grand salami here, and then we go up 9-4. First pitch, big swing and a miss. He was going for the moon there. 0-1 count. But again, we'll take a walk, hit by pitch, as long as Cole doesn't get hurt. A single, a double, a triple, a home run, anything. to get this lead from 5 to 6 and beyond. Come on, Cole. 0-1 pitch in there for another strike, low and away. No balls and 2 strikes to Cole Young. Kenneth in the building. What's good? Trident's up. Let's go, M's. 0-2 pitch ends up being fouled back. And I know, as a fan, it's hard to even imagine us coming back. No Cal, no Brendan Donovan, no Brash, no Spire, Munoz sucks, Castillo and Gilbert suck. All these things that are going against us. We can't fucking hit. We can't score runs. And then all of a sudden, the other team has a meltdown, and then another guy has a meltdown. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. Down goes Young. And again, it's, one of those things, once the starter goes out, it's a whole new ball game. And a lot of times it's hard for fans to really fathom, a meltdown could happen. And it's like, it's really natural just to be negative and think, it's over. 4-0, we're not coming back. Even if a meltdown happens, we're not going to be able to capitalize off the meltdown. We're going to get bases loaded with no outs, and we're not going to score any. Those are the things that kind of, go into your head, as a fan. When things are going bad, it's hard to be able to be positive. But again, if you can have that blind faith with me here on the channel, I can't promise you that we're going to be able to come back every single time with this blind faith, but again, there are going to be times that we're going to be able to rally, like in that Cardinal game where Wu gave up 7 runs in the first 3 innings. Boom, we get 2 in the 8th, with a 2-run RBI single by Connor Joe, and then another one, a 2-run RBI single in the 9th, and by JP, and then all of a sudden we score 4 runs in the 8th and the 9th combined, and we win 11-9 in a game that we had no business of coming back and winning. So, this game we're down 4-0, 4 solo dingers, by Drake Baldwin in the first inning, and then 3 solo dingers in a single inning by Albies, Olsen, and Riley. You're thinking, holy hell, what the hell is happening here, right? And sometimes you just need a little bit of that Soto mojo and that Mariner magic. We busted out the Mariner Moose about 3 innings early. It worked, right? Big 3-run blast by Luke Raley, and then we ended up getting a big 2-run jack there by JP Crawford. And now we're in full control with bases loaded and 2 outs with Mitch Garver. But we know Mitch, isn't a guy that does this very often, right? A big home run or a grand salami, but this would be a great time for an RBI. But if he hits the grand salami and we go up 9-4, that would be great. Even an RBI single, making it 6-4 or 7-4. And him even getting walked or hit by a pitch, and that runner from third comes home to make it 6-4. I don't care how we get it, but just knowing how our bullpen doesn't have very many guys that are trustworthy. Bizzardo, Poppy, and then Ferrer did a good job today, but we know obviously Ferrer is still kind of a liability. For every one time he does good, usually there's 2 or 3 instances where he ends up having a meltdown and does bad. But so far, so good. I'm loving this team. I'll never give up on this team. I'll call a spade, and we'll make sure we, call people out that need to be called out, when things are going bad. But again, I'm always going to be overly positive. And, again, nice comeback here by the Mariners so far, but we're not done. Now, Carrasco is coming in for Bummer. He didn't last long. First pitch is high and away, 1-0 count. Take the walk here, Mitch. Bottom of the 7th, bases loaded with 2 outs. Why did you swing? 1-0 pitch, lazy swing, and if you just don't swing, it would have been 2-0 count, and you would have probably got in with a walk. Come on, Mitch. Carrasco on the mound, Garver in the box. We've already seen 3 pitchers have meltdowns for the Braves. Here we go! Line drive right to third base. Gosh. I thought for sure that was going to end up going past the third baseman, but it goes right to his glove. And that is it. So we aren't able to capitalize anymore. But again, I'm still happy that we ended up having a 5-4 lead. But again, based on our bullpen struggles, I would assume that most of us fans would be comfortable if we have a 3-run lead. Because again, if we only have a 1-run, how many times have we brought in Mooney, with a 1-run lead, 2-1, and then he has a meltdown, and then the game is tied 2-2, and then we end up losing 3-2. It feels like it's happened a couple times already this season. So I'm hoping, we can get 2 more runs minimum, but we'll see how this goes. Let's go to the top of the 8th inning and see who's up next here for the Braves. Next up for the Braves, 1 for 2 with a run, RBI, and a base on ball. Had a home run in his last at bat, Matt Olson. Batting second in the 4-hole, fielder, former Astro, Mauricio Dubon. And batting third, 1 for 3 with a run and an RBI and a home run in his last at bat as well, Austin Riley. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Gained another sub since the last commercial break. $25 subs to go to 24,000. And we're at 122 likes. $28 to $150. All right, Ferrer is out there again. First pitch in there for a strike from Ferrer, and hopefully this is the good version of Ferrer. I mean, he was good the last inning, and again, and as crazy as it sounds, I think I would rather have Hoppy be our closer than Mooney. If Mooney can't, close games out, and we're going to be limited, and we're going to be able to have Ferrer sometimes go 2 innings, like with Bizzardo, I think Hoppy gives us the best chance of closing a game out, either him or Bizzardo. Those would be the guys that, you would want. And they got Bizzardo warming up. So maybe they'll have Bizzardo come in and try to close the game out instead of Mooney, because you keep going with Mooney, it's not going to, turn around, it feels like. Popped up into shallow left field by Olson. Randy is there. Randy's having a good game today. Good defense there, Randy. And that is 1 away. But, depending on if Bizzardo pitches early, then obviously he can't, be the guy that closes the game. But now if Bizzardo is coming in, I would go with Hoppy to close the game out in the 9th. And I know that's probably not going to happen, but if you look at Hoppy's track record, just by pitching in 1 inning alone, more times than not, he gets 2 strikeouts, sometimes 3. The only time that he had a meltdown is when they first brought him up and he had to pitch 2 innings. And then he had 2 strikeouts in the first inning and then had a meltdown in the next inning, and it was terrible. But, but again, if you only have Hoppy pitch 1 inning, until the grip and the, mental part of the game is back for Mooney, that's where I would go, and not every night, because again, maybe one night it might be Mooney, maybe one night it might be Bizzardo, maybe one night it could be Hoppy, but, I think Hoppy gives us the best chance to be able to close a game out besides Bizzardo, at least today, because I don't trust Mooney at all. But let's see what Bizzardo does here. Ferrer does a good job. Nice job by Jose Ferrer. We haven't been able to say that often this season. And we're going to have to rely on Jose Ferrer even more because we obviously have Gabe Spire on the 15-day IL. And now we just got to hope Edward Bizzardo ends up being the good version of Edward Bizzardo. Top of the 8th inning with nobody on, with 1 out, 5-4 Mariners. Let's go Bizzardo. And again, I think, being a problem solver, and being a good manager and a good leader, you have to think outside the box. You just can't leave someone, in the same spot over and over and over and then just hope, oh, he'll figure it out, because obviously, the good version of Mooney, we know what that's about. You can tell in the first 7 pitches if he's going to be able to retire the side, all on punch outs or, be locked in the strike zone. But obviously this season it's been mental. It's also been physical with the grip, and there's been a lot of opportunities when we've had a 2-1 lead and he's blown it, either for, a run to tie it up, or the other team takes the lead. And, we work so hard to get to a point where we even have a lead. The last thing that we need is to have a guy that we normally trust have that epic meltdown. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss there to Dubon. 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody on and 1 out. Top of the 8th inning, Mariners with a big comeback, down 4 runs in the 6th. They scored 5 in the bottom of the 6th, and now we have a 1-run lead, but we need more. 1-1 pitch, hard hit ball into right field and foul. Sinker at 95 miles an hour there by Bizzardo. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Mauricio Dubon, the former Stro. But I like Hoppy, and again, it's all about trust. It's like, how good are you going to do, and how good are you going to do consistently? And obviously we only have a couple starters, a couple guys in the pen, and not having a reliable closer is not ideal when your team is not playing well. It's a nightmare. 2-2 pitch. Check swing. Did he go? Looks like he did not. Sweeper, 83 miles an hour. Low and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Bizzardo to Mauricio Dubon. Three-two pitch. Big swing and a miss. Got him. Let's go, baby. Nice job there by Edward Bizzardo. Next up is Austin Riley. First pitch is high and away, 1-0 count. And Riley homered in his last at-bat. Cannot have that here. Line drive. Ooh, gets past JP. And it rolls into Randy. And thankfully that only ends up being a single, because a lot of times ground balls to Randy turn into doubles when they should be singles. All right. I don't mind if you're going to give up a hit, but we just can't give up any RBIs or home runs. And hopefully we can shut the door down here on 6-hole hitter, left fielder, formerly of the Giants, Mike Yastrzemski. Good attempt by JP, but just couldn't get there in time. First pitch, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. And imagine if we called up Cade Anderson and just used him in the pen. Like, how many times that could help us, get out of jams and have someone reliable. And then even Colt Emerson, having someone that we could actually play, once in a while as well, that has great defense and offense. And honestly, I know JP Crawford homer today, but if Colt Emerson got called up, I think he would be a better defender and a better hitter than JP immediately. And I wouldn't say that about too many guys. There is going to be growing pains, just like for Cole Young when he first got called up. But, there'll be growing pains with Cade as well. But I definitely think that both guys could help the team today. Popped him up. JP Crawford is there. And nice job by JP. And that is out number 3. Good job, Jose Ferrer. Good job, Edward Bizzardo. And again, you're trying to clean up the mess that Logan Gilbert put us in. Great job by Luke Raley and JP Crawford on offense with those big 2 home runs. But again, we can't get comfortable, because think about how many times we had a 2-1 lead, and then Mooney came in and blew it. So we still need to try to get a couple more runs if possible. Let's see who's up next year for the Mariners. A lot of grit and a lot of heart with this team. I'm proud to be a fan of the Seattle Mariners. It doesn't always go our way, but again, you got to be able to watch games from beginning to end, instead of overreacting and just turning it off when we get down early. Do it for Riz. 50th year anniversary for the Mariners, 40 plus on the radio. It would be great to get to the World Series and have him walk out into the sunset on a high note. Let's do it for Riz, and let's do it for Dave Niehaus. He's in baseball heaven, baby. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2 with 2 Ks, third baseman Leo Rivas. Batting second, 1 for 2 with a run, 2 RBIs and 2 walks, JP Crawford. Big 2-run blast to give us the 5-4 lead. And batting third, 0 for 3 with a base on ball. And this will be a good opportunity for you to get your first hit and help us extend our lead. Let's get it, Julio Rodriguez. Trident's up. Let's go, Ems. 25 subs to go to 24,000. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. We're at 127 likes. Can we get 23 more to get to 150? Yeah. But even though you don't like Crawford, Isaac, he still has won us a few games, this season with big RBIs and big home runs. So, I mean, JP doesn't hit the home run there, we don't win this game. So, you may personally not like him, but at least he's doing his best, at this point, knowing that his time is coming to an end sooner than later. One pitch to Rivas. Little dribbler towards first base and foul. And he's a much better hitter than Rivas, more clutch, so obviously we know Rivas and JP have been able to make some big plays on defense, and they've also, kind of fucked up a few times, not today for Rivas defensively, but, the defense between, shortstop and third base definitely could be better. But again, once we end up having Colt Emerson and Brandon Donovan, that's going to be the best it's going to get, but we have to be patient. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. Down goes Rivas, and that is one away. Next up, one of the heroes today, shortstop J.P. Crawford. 1 for 2 with a run, 2 RBIs, and 2 walks. Patient in the box more times than not. Sometimes has hiccups on defense. Normally is pretty damn good, defensively, but has had some mistakes, within the last few weeks. But again, big home run, to give us the 5-4 lead with Mitch Garver on base. And, we'll see if it ends up being enough for us to get that victory. 1-0 pitch, high and away. One ball and one strike to J.P. Crawford. J.P. looked back at the ump and thought, that might have been a ball, but it was right on the line. 1-1 pitch. And a little dribbler towards first. Olsen is there. Toe tap on the bag, and that is 2 away. Just like when we would go to first base with Vinny Pasquantino with the Royals, it's pretty tough to get things past, Pasquantino, as well as a guy like Matt Olsen. All right, here we go. Julio's last chance to be able to prevent himself from going 0 for 4. And it would be great for him to be able to do this and give us a home run here and give our Mariners a 6-4 lead if possible. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Let's go, Julio. First pitch, high and inside with a sinker, 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, low and away. Cutter, 90 miles an hour there by Carrasco. 2 balls and no strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th inning, 5-4 Mariners. And I'll tell you this, if we come back and win this game, this will be one of the most satisfying wins and of the whole entire season, just like that Cardinal game where we came back and won 11-9 after Wu gave up 7 runs in the first 3 innings. Those would be very, very big for us. And Julio with the line drive, bounces off the third baseman, and Julio gets a hit on his 4th at-bat. My man, it wasn't a home run, but nice job there. Kind of felt that Julio was going to, get a hit, and Julio's been fantastic in the last 15 to 20 games, batting above 300. He's really been locked in, more patient in the box, and then we get a little lucky there as it hits the third baseman, and he can't end up cradling that baseball. Sometimes it pays to be a little lucky. And Austin Riley cannot come up with that play. Nice job, Julio. Next up is Josh Naylor. Let's go, Josh. First pitch, high and inside, 1-0 count. Trident's up. Let's go, M's, baby. Bottom of the 8th, runner at first with 2 outs. Never lose faith. 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Josh Naylor, and your bullpen, are going to, win or lose you more games than any other position group, and we're going to have meltdowns ourselves, but it's always nice to be able to see them happen to the other team. 2-0 pitch, fouls that one back to the T-Mobile bricks. 2 balls and 1 strike to Josh Naylor. Come on, Josh. It's a pretty good chance if Julio doesn't have any major injuries and plays 15 to 20 years that he will be in the Hall of Fame. He still has a long ways to go, but there's a chance there might be a couple Hall of Famers on this team, that end up going to Cooperstown before it's all said and done. But I like the way that Julio has adjusted finally. It took him 5 years, but again, he finally kind of figured it out even with the slow start. And a hard hit ball by Naylor. Ooh, foul. We had a little hit and run there with Naylor and Julio, and just couldn't capitalize on that. That one ends up being foul. But again, at first, 10 games, Julio was terrible. Cal was terrible. Naylor was terrible. Hell, Naylor was, bottom 2 in MLB. And he's been able to work his way up with the leg kick and the confidence, which is great. We were really just banking on Brendan Donovan and Cole Young in that bad stretch of, holding it down for the Mariners, but hard to be able to hold it down when you only have 2 guys out of 9 hitting, but things look much better with Julio, and I'm happy. Same thing with Naylor. Things were really bad early on, and, I don't like seeing anybody struggle. I want to see us, win and see us in a good position. And a lot of hard work was put in by Julio Naylor to get this shit turned around. 2-2 pitch, and Naylor pops it up. Should be an easy out here, you would assume, for the Braves, and that is out number 3. All right, here we go. We're going to the top of the 9th inning, and we have another 1-run lead, and we've seen Andres Munoz blow, 1-run leads often. When we had a 2-1 lead and it ends up being 2-2 and then we lose 3-2. I cannot, and I'm going to say this again, I cannot have another fucking meltdown by Mooney, and at some point, we may have to consider, early we were thinking, oh, maybe Brash, could be the closer and maybe have Mooney pitch in the 8th until he's ready to take the role again. But then what happened? Brash got hurt, right? And Spire got hurt, obviously, as well. And we would never put Spire in the closer, but Hoppy could be the new closer until, Mooney is right, but we'll see. I think Hoppy gives us, even though he's fresh out at AAA, I got more confidence in Hoppy than I do in Mooney, but let's just pray that Mooney ends up being the Mooney from last year, and we can end up, winning this game 5-4. Come on, Andres Munoz. And again, for him, it's not only, physical with the grip, on the slider and a few other pitches. It's also mental. It's in his head, and again, you're going to figure out how good Mooney is. Like I mention every time, first 7 pitches, that's going to determine if we're going to have a meltdown out of Mooney, like some of those Braves pitchers, or if he's going to be locked in. We don't expect him to strike out 3 guys in a row. He didn't even do that when he was locked in last year or the year before often, but he could, right? But just, 1 strikeout, 1 pop-up, 1 ground out, but again, he does have a tendency to throw wild, walk a guy, hit a guy, give up a single here, a single there, and we just can't fucking afford to happen again, I don't even want us to fucking bat in the bottom of the 9th, and have to try to, win the game 6-5 after they tied it up. Let's fucking try to win a game, with a guy that used to be a top 5, top 10 closer. He isn't anymore. But we just have to have, again, blind faith that we get the good version of Mooney here today. And if anyone deserves it, it's us Mariner fans. I mean, hell, we were down 4-0, 4 solo dingers, and then we get a 3-run jack by Rayleigh, 2-run jack by JP. Ferrer actually did good. Bizzardo did good, right? Can we please get the good version of Mooney? And if it doesn't, then you have to got to consider someone else, like Hoppy. But again, is Dan Wilson smart enough to know what to do? And now we have Michael Harris II pinch hitting here. Come on, Mooney. First pitch to Harris is in there for a strike. Good start. 0-1 count. Big swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes to Michael Harris II. There we go. First 2 pitches, you get a strike, and then you get a big swing and a miss. Great start. Michael Harris pinch hitting here. Come on, Mooney, please. 0-2 pitch to Harris, into the dirt. Harris does not bite, 86 miles an hour. No balls and 2 strikes, turns into 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Top of the 9th inning, 5-4 Mariners. And again, if we can find a way to win this game, we have a chance to win 2 out of 3 against the best team in baseball. 25-10 record. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. Got him! Gosh, man, nice job. Mooney strikes out Harris. Big swing and a miss, and that is 1 away. And luckily, we're lower in the lineup rather than, in the top of the order. Next up is Eli White. On deck is Jorge Mateo. First pitch right down the middle with a strike. 0-1 count. This is the good Mooney, right? You can tell in the first, we're approaching, going to be in the first 7 pitches, and more, times than not, it's a strike or a swing and a miss. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Here we go. We've been waiting patiently for you, Mooney. No balls and 2 strikes to Eli White, Jorge Mateo on deck, and hopefully we just end it with him, because then it goes Baldwin, Albies, Olsen. All 3 of those guys have homered early in the game. We don't want to face them. We just want to face the bottom of the order. 0-2 pitch. Got him! Strike 3 looking. Let's go! All right, 1 more batter. Let's go. Last but not least, I don't want to see Baldwin, Albies, or Olsen one bit. Jorge Mateo. Unless they end up having a pinch hitter here. Oh, it's going to be Smith that's going to be pinch hitting. Dominic Smith. First pitch to Dominic Smith, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. And this is the best that Mooney has done with 2 batters, maybe all season. It's been pretty rare to see this version of him, this season. And I'm pleasantly surprised. Thank you. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees, but he's got to settle in here. Nerves are high. 2 balls and no strikes to Dominic Smith. Little dribbler for a hit. Shit. And Dom Smith gets a base knock there. And now we go to the top of the order, and now we have to hold our breath. Next up is Drake Baldwin, who had a home run on the 3rd pitch of the game against Logan Gilbert. Got to find a way to get this last out. So far, Mooney pretty damn good in the first 2 batters. Ended up giving up a hit there. And now Garver and Mooney have to get on the same page. Let's go. Ozokar is pinch running. Finish, Mooney. We've had so many games where we've had a 2-1 lead or a 1-run lead, and he's blown it for, tying the game up or having the other team take the lead. And then more times than not, we can't recover from that, and then we lose the game. But so far, those first 2 batters with Mooney, that was excellent, and again, he gave up a base knock there to Dominic, Smith, and we just got to hope that we can find a way here. Finish, Mooney. First pitch right down the middle for a strike. 0-1 count. And again, at least he's locked in. You can tell he's not throwing, 5 feet off the plate, or having wild pitches go to the backstop. So far, so good. 0-1 count. Come on, Mooney. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Let's go. Huge whiff there by Baldwin. No balls and 2 strikes. We're 1 strike away from coming back. Down 4-0 to win 5-4. Let's fucking go. The best team in baseball is about to possibly go down. Let's go. 0-2 pitch from Mooney. Low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Munoz to Baldwin. Come on, baby. Number 1 record in baseball, 25-10. But again, I had a good feeling, a better feeling than I did when we were playing the Royals, even though I know this team has the record, best in MLB. But, I kind of felt that we could end up winning a game out of 3. And if we were lucky to win game 1, maybe even 2 out of 3. Come on, baby. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 pitch. Little dribbler. Cole Young. Throw to first. Game over. Let's go. And this is a perfect example, for all of those fair weather, bandwagon, or even hardcore fans that gave up, when we were, watching this game together. They turned the game off. They went to go watch something on Netflix. They went to go run an errand. They said, fuck this team. We're not going to come back. We're down 4-0. They gave up 4 solo dingers. Logan Gilbert gave up 3 solo dingers in an inning. No way we're going to come back. And this is the perfect example. If you stick with me, and you understand the positivity, and it flows, it's easy to be negative, it takes, someone, to be able to give you that extra positivity, that little light at the end of the tunnel, even when everyone doesn't think that it's going to, be a comeback, and this is a great example of that. Meltdowns can happen on both sides, and we actually finally put together, a pretty good game besides Logan Gilbert, right? Ferrer did good. Sometimes he has meltdowns, right? So I'll go over the stats here in a moment, but, Ferrer did good. Bizzardo did good. Mooney did good. And really the only, individual that didn't do good was Logan Gilbert. He put us in a hole, down 4-0, but we bailed him out. Luke Raley, 3-run bomb, right? Back-to-back walks, 3-run bomb, boom, 4-3. Then you got Garver on, and then boom, J.P. Crawford, 2-run blast. And J.P. Crawford winning us another game. So, again, for some, he may not be everyone's favorite, but again, we're happy to have him, and anything to be able to help us win against the number 1 team in baseball. The 25-10 Braves now go to 25-11, and the 16-19 Mariners now improve to 17-19. And again, we win against the best team in baseball. And it's one of those things where, you play up to the competition. Sometimes when we play the Angels, the Athletics, and the Royals, we play down to the competition. And you see that in sports, when we play the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Astros or Rangers, we play up, we may not win, but at least, everyone's bringing their A game and, or at least trying to. And this one is really satisfying, just as satisfying, if not more satisfying than that 7-0 deficit that we were, in St. Louis. Wu giving up 7 in the first 3 innings, and then us coming back, scoring 2 in the 8th and 2 in the 9th, and winning 11-9. This is going to be a very special victory for me, and hopefully for a lot of you that watch this game with me. We're going to have a few ESP moments where we're going to be able to predict things that happen and, say it out loud, and then it happens 10 seconds later. But again, it feels really good to get this victory. Let's go over the stats here real quick. Thank God for Mooney. All right, Drake Baldwin, 1 for 4 with a home run on the 3rd pitch of the game on Logan Gilbert with an RBI. And obviously that made it 1-0 in the top of the 1st inning. Ozzie Albies, 1 for 4 with a home run and an RBI on Logan Gilbert there in the 6th. Matt Olson, 1 for 3 with a home run and an RBI in the 6th. Mauricio Dubon ended up going 0 for 4, the former Astro. Austin Riley going 2 for 4 and having a home run in that 6th inning as well in an RBI. Mike Yastrzemski going 1 for 4. Sean Murphy 0 for 3. Eli White 1 for 4. And Jorge Mateo going 1 for 3. And then J.R. Ritchie, 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 6 walks, 2 Ks, 93 pitches, 47 strikes. But really what won it for us is Kinley having a meltdown, right? Bummer having a meltdown and Carrasco having the meltdown. So it's like, you can have meltdowns. And we saw Ritchie with a little bit of a meltdown as well before he had to exit. So, it always feels good when you can end up finding a way, and obviously Bummer and Carrasco, not much of a meltdown, compared to, obviously Ritchie and Kinley, but we'll take it. And now let's go with the Seattle Mariners. JP Crawford, hero today, 1 for 3 with a run, a home run late in the 6th inning with 2 RBIs. Nice job by JP Crawford. Julio Rodriguez, 1 for 4, getting a hit in his last at-bat. That takes a lot of guts. Josh Naylor with a good game, 2 for 5. Randy Arozarena had a good game offensively and defensively, 1 for 3 with a run. Dominic Canzone, 1 for 2 with a run. Luke Raley, 1 for 2 with 3 RBIs and a big home run to get us in range when we were down 4-0 to make it 4-3. Nuke by Luke. Cole Young, 0 for 4, which is rare. He won't do that tomorrow. Mitch Garver, 0 for 3. And Leo Rivas, 0 for 3. So the whole bottom of the order, 7, 8, 9, ended up going 0 for 10, and we still ended up winning the game. Thank God. And Logan Gilbert, really the only player that played bad today. 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks. Jose Ferrer played well. Bizardo played well. And most importantly, this guy played well for the first time in a long time. 1 inning pitched, 1 hit. Obviously 2 big Ks, 14 pitches, 10 strikes, 5.79 ERA, which is high for him. But again, it just feels good that he didn't have another fucking meltdown, and then we had to bat in the bottom of the 9th and, try to win this game in 9, 10, 11, or 12. So, man, feels good. And again, I expect us to be able to bring, that energy tomorrow as well. And then let's take a quick peek here. We got another evening game tomorrow and then an afternoon game on Wednesday. And we got Bryce Elder, who's having a good year this year for the Braves, 3-1 with a 1.88 ERA, and going against our best pitcher tomorrow, George Kirby, right? And then we got Brian Wu on Wednesday, I believe. But again, Wu has given up 13 runs in his last 2 starts and has been bad. But if we can get the good version of Wu, who knows? But again, George Kirby on the mound tomorrow. We got to love that. And again, excited that we were able to come back from, down 4-0. And then we ended up winning this game 5-4. So again, a perfect example, of having faith and not being overly negative. And again, finding a way to get the job done, and again, it's not, it's not going to always go in our favor, but, just us being negative and whiny and pouty and bitchy and moany, is not going to make things better. Me having a meltdown and screaming at the screen every inning when shit goes wrong, which could happen literally every inning this season, because it's not really gone our way. It's not going to make shit better. Again, you just have to recognize, when things are going a little sideways and having that blind faith and being positive and positive vibes, they rub off. And I'm really happy that we came back and won this game. This will be a game that I'll never forget. So I love you guys and I appreciate you guys very much. Shout out to Maria, Phil, and Mando with the donos on the dono train. And again, this one is going to be very satisfying. I'm going to have a nice walk with the pup here later tonight. And I'll be live tomorrow, same time, same place, 6:40 Pacific. Elder versus Kirby. Can't wait. Final score, Seattle Mariners 5, Atlanta Braves 4. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I am out. Tridents up. Go Mariners.